나만 모두 안 싫어해요. 나만 모두 안 미워해요. 잘 몰라서 그래요. 말이 안 나와요. 내 맘이 엇나가요. 많이 어려워요. 어릴 적 내 가방은 컸고 이젠 그걸 벗고도 무거워요. 이유 없는 결과에 왔고 난 그게 무서워요. 난 그게 무서워요. 난 나 부끄러워요. 의심할 만했어요. 엉킨 실을 못 풀고 잘랐고 아마 그건 아팠을 거예요. 어릴 적이란 말은 없고 후회한단 말로 다 덮고 내가 되고 싶은 날 적고 난 뭐 그래요. 엄마, 아빠, 친구 모두 미움만 받지 말길 바래요. 엄마, 누나, 친구, 아빠 누굴 미워하지 말길 바래요.
Greetings, everybody. We just wanted to play that video to pay our respects to Alarm, the Philadelphia Fusion's AIM support, who unfortunately passed away very recently. Our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. Tonight, however, we do have ASCENT Season 5. We've got the first semi-final match, and I am with Apara. This is presented by AOE Sports and streamed by Koala Esports. Welcome, Apara. It's so good to be back on a desk with you. Can we break the Opatho curse tonight?
That's what we're going to be looking for here in our semi-finals. We've got two pretty exciting matches for us. It's going to be pretty fun to see how this goes tonight. First up, we're going to be having KE AGONY versus East Coast CONVICTS, Pap.
Yeah, very, very exciting match. And then match two, the one I'm looking forward to the most, will be the rematch from week 3, Bronze Johnsons versus Pride, Div 5, the rematch. And Stranger and I were on that, and I've also got Gat who's streaming. He was also the streamer for that night as well, so we're all so excited to see how that goes down in the semis. If you guys don't know what the heck ASCENT is, it's a fun competitive tournament with a prize pool of $1,100 that's split amongst the divisions. It's a 5-week tournament followed by the 2 weeks of finals, which we're in currently. Everyone is split into higher or lower bracket divs. It's a massive tournament with 40 plus teams into our 5th season, and it's all funded thanks to our lovely, lovely Patreons. If you want to help fund more tournaments like this one, consider heading to patreon.com/AOEsports. And if this has piqued interest, don't miss out. Join our Discord and the website links down below. But yes, Apara, I am so ecstatic to get into these matches tonight. The first of the semis, so it's elimination, so only one team can go through.
Yeah, this is the big leagues now. At this point, we are ready, and we're going to be having some really incredible games to watch. Like I said, our first match, KE Agony versus East Coast Convicts. Let's just quickly run through the players on the side of Agony. We're starting off with KR Rocket on tank, as well as King Penguin. And then, of course, we've got in the DPS slot, we've got Sabertooth and Botnix. And then finally, on the support, we have Corvus and Mega Smileys.
Yeah, indeed. And their opponents for tonight will be East Coast Convicts, managed by JEEF Beef, also captained by JEEF Beef. The tanks for tonight will be Jarp's favorite hero will be that Winston, so perhaps we might see some dives coming out. Hugh Jackman will be following them up with some incredible diva, perhaps favorite hero, maybe might bring that one out too. Winter for the hit scan DPS for tonight. Then you've got JEEF Beef flexing on the deeps with Genji perhaps. And keeping everybody alive in that backline will be Zach and Snow, with Mercy and Anna being their favorite heroes respectively. If we go and see a little bit more about them, they've been together since the very dawn of AOL. Half of their roster has been together as a team for 4 years apart, so that's a lot of getting to know the ins and outs of your, how the composition works and how the strategies might play out. Every season of Ascent, we have either won or we've been the runners-up, and boy howdy, they bringing this one into fruition as well, right up to the semis. We have recently created our own org named after the man himself, JEEF Beef, and they're probably the biggest SR diversity of any team participating in Ascent from mid-plat all the way to GM. And tonight, the people you should be looking out for is Hugh Jackman, an incredible diva, and JEEF Beef, the apparent Genji god.
Oh, that sounds like an incredible lineup here. Of course, Agony, our Koala Esports team, is going to be bringing that pressure. It's going to be 2 incredible matches. One thing that potentially might bring Agony down a little bit is they haven't had a coach up until now, so it's going to be interesting to see. But I think with Sabertooth on that DPS lineup, it's going to bring a lot of pressure to East Coast Convicts. Looking at our map pool very quickly, Lijiang Tower, we're going to be starting off at, and then of course moving into Hollywood, Blizzard World, or Kings Row as a loser's pick. For our escort, we're going to have either Junkertown, Watchpoint Gibraltar, or Dorado. If we need to go to 2CP, which I say that every time, and we have needed to every time, Temple of Anubis, Hanamura, or Volskaya, and of course escort to finish it off, Nepal or Oasis, losers pick. And we haven't needed a tiebreaker just yet, so hopefully it stays there, but Ilios as a tiebreaker if we desperately need it. I'm really excited for these matches, Pap.
I know, I am wondering if we can break what we have deemed behind the scenes the Opapa curse. Every time either Apara or myself, and especially when Apara and I are together, we seem to be able to take it all the way, all 10 maps, if not, maybe 11 and 12 sprinkled in the middle. So maybe we might, but it is the semis now, Apara. This is the business end, so only the best of the best have made it this far. So you'd hope that it's very, very close.
Yeah, I think we're going to be having really intense matches. I don't think we're going to break the Opapa curse officially of 10 maps, but we might get close. Maybe we'll get 9. You know what? Or maybe even 8.
Yeah.
Maybe if we ask the Overwatch gods nicely, they'll provide us with a little bit less here. But yeah, exactly right. Lijiang Tower, Pep, what do you expect to see running?
Well, so the past couple of weeks, we've kind of seen a little bit of brawl, but mostly, we saw a very interesting come out from Team Zach de Cardor, I think it was last week. where they ran this very bizarre Winston Reinhardt, just kind of brawly, kind of divey, but it seems like we are going instead for East Coast Convicts. We'll be running the just immediate brawl, getting on that point and swinging away as fast as they can, whereas on the other side, very pokey, and they're just going to look for those picks. They've got the Fire of Sabretooth in the sky, raining rockets, and then Crockett will be dismantling. But they will have to watch out for Winter, as that flashbang might come in clutch.
Now look how split up these teams are already, and look where XW is going. Askew even is just pushing into this backline, trying to get the charge onto Mega Smileys, and they do there. Askew pushing in aggressively here now, desperately trying to get a couple more picks, but because of that really good flank, this point is early on going to go the way of East Coast Convicts there.
It always was because of JEEF Beef's teleporter there, and unfortunately Sabretooth getting picked so early into that fight did not allow Agony to do what they really want to do and just rain in the damage from about 5 different angles, and then just leave their Ana of Mega Smileys nice and safe. But instead, that obviously leaves East Coast with a great position. Here we go with the boot. Doesn't really quite work out though.
Crockett really wanted to get someone off, but JEEF Beef is going to be the one taking out Sabretooth with the turret there. Corvus on the battle hearse, you love to see it. And you know what, Crockett's keeping that hope alive. It's 2 on the board for each side right now. But realistically, this point presence is just going to make the call for Agony to fall back.
Yeah, you're gonna. Oh, here we go. Here comes the nano sacrifice. Not done it, Farah.
Okay, never mind. I thought Agony would stop, but no, they are back already up and running. A good anti-nade as well leads Botnix to getting the first kill of the fight. Can we see any more come through? Botnix is trying, but Winter and Zach are going to be the ones that put in the work for East Coast Convicts once again, and they keep that point pretty dominantly.
Yeah, that was interesting. I don't know why Agony decided to push in a little bit there. They still had 4 players East Coast, so they were kind of sitting quite comfortable, especially when you still have that Reinhardt shield and then the DM off Hugh Jackman. So that was a little bit unfortunate losing that. But coming into the next fight, Sabretooth does have the oh my goodness, the rockets, and then here comes the mines onto the point, the barrage. That is the one.
Yeah, that minefield really putting a lot of pressure onto East Coast Convicts, and there goes Snow because of it. Botnix taking out Askew, and oh, the boop was nearly perfect, but unfortunately only Shrek 3 or DVD goes off there. Sabretooth now putting in a lot of work and doesn't even need to commit that rocket barrage.
No, that was so perfectly done there. Crockett just being an absolute nuisance, forcing Winter to turn around, and even Zach as well was a little bit preoccupied. So that just allowed Sabretooth to go wild, and then with Shrek 3 on DVD behind, just protecting the Mercy, and as far as they walked in, there was just no hope after that, especially because Immortal was just burnt down by mines. Next fight though, the Shadow will come out from a queue. Who do you really landed on? He doesn't have a tech visor. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting tech visor there, and you can see it is just kind of not really getting too much value, but I am liking this flank around. The res onto Sabretooth might bring him back into the fight, but is it going to be enough here? Here comes the rocket barrage onto Snow. JEEF Beef gets taken out too, but Hugh Jackman, she manages to get up close and personal just on time. Shrek 3 and DVD desperately throwing anything out, and there's a minefield as well, but the Shatter just throwing them onto the ground. Because they got this nice flank of a back cap, they are ticking down the overtime, and now it's just Botnix. All that is left with Mega Smileys trying to support. Sabretooth just gets on, goes for the uppercut. But I mean, oh, a huge anti-nade from Mega Smileys. If this immortality goes down, it could be dangerous, especially with the teleporter Shrek 3 on DVD. They're desperately trying to come back, but finally, that point goes the way of East Coast Convicts.
Yeah, those tac visors, they were popped at some very bizarre times there. I mean, we pointed it out. One was towards the end of the fight. The Nano was also committed, yet both tanks were still alive. And then I don't really know where that other tac visor happened, but because of that, there was just no real target for Botnix to be able to really latch on there. They will be going for the brawl, however, Agony for this next fight, and Mega Smileys will be bringing up the Baptiste just like Snow instead of the Ana. So, you know, being able to keep that Reinhardt alive will be pretty much crucial for who comes out on top, and it seems like, yeah, it will be the battle of the Symmetras, Junkrats. It's almost even Stevens. The only difference here, Apara, is there will be a Diva instead of the Sigma from Shrek 3 on DVD. So a little little bit more defensive from Agony.
Yeah, dare I say this, Dave is probably going to get a bit more value trying to eat up these Junkrat mines and everything getting thrown out. A lot of spam damage can be eaten up, and yeah, Hugh Jackman, she immediately gets the kill onto Corvus. Losing that speed is going to be devastating as Crockett falls. Agony now, really, you just want to fall back, you know, try not give them as much ult charge as possible and let them have that early, try take the retake, and that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I mean, that was really, really well played from Hugh Jackman. The defensive matrix, so much damage was eaten up. And yeah, because of that, they were able just to sweep right on through. And now already application matrix Sapara forcing them to go into the right pretty hard.
Yeah, that is just really devastating. I mean, Winter now taking out Corvus, and they do pop an application matrix of their own. Agony trying to find some value, but...
Apara, no one's capped yet. Okay, they capped.
Oh, you're totally right. Yeah, that was just... Oh my gosh, that was an interesting decision by the sides of East Coast Convicts. Maybe they just wanted to keep us on hostage on Lijiang Tower. I mean, that's a good call. But now with SQ finally getting those final kills, once again, that is going to be Agony thrown back to spawn.
There were a couple of people of East Coast Convicts that were lost, but the Lucio and the Junkrat, they'll get past very quickly. Here comes the Flux, however.
But the self-destruct is better, taking out Mega Smileys, and there's a Riptire as well. Oh my gosh, East Coast Convicts, they are locking down Agony. KE maybe called Agony right now, but they're feeling it, that's for sure.
No, they really are. They've got to hang on to the Sabertooth Riptire, perhaps go on a little bit of a cheeky flank. Mega Smileys forced out that immortality. Other person, Snow, force out that immortality field, that just get a couple of really easy picks, even if it's one or two. They will be rotating differently, but they're going to be meeting them, East Coast Convicts, with that Lucio and Amplification Matrix already.
Oh, that Deadeye got booped back by the charge, but there it is, finally find someone. Zach getting taken out, but because of the charge, losing Mega Smileys, it's just really hard for Agony to put in this push. Sabertooth is trying their best though, and now with the sound barrier, it's going to give it a little bit more value and a little bit more lifespan for Agony here as they are desperately trying to get those kills. There goes JEEF, and they haven't committed the Riptide just yet, and Hugh Jackman actually gets the kill. Throws out the self-destruct. Doesn't get too much, but is keeping that point constantly just in the favor of East Coast Convicts right now. Shatters both sides, doesn't connect onto anyone. They're just throwing them back and forth. And finally, KE Agony, they're coming together a little bit. But the stall from East Coast Convicts is so good. They're constantly just building this point percentage up bit by bit by bit. And now finally, Agony get it at 99%.
Yeah, Para, that was really, really good. I reckon they touched point about 70% there, Agony, but they couldn't dislodge East Coast fast enough. Now, though, coming into the next fight, they don't really have much on the Convict side. Winter will have that Riptide, but so will Sabertooth, who actually ended up holding onto it, which I was surprised at. I was going to say they're kind of half committing into these fights from what I can see here, Agony, and then being a little bit too reactive. Whereas East Coast Convicts, I'm going to shut up, because those Riptires, they're coming out strong, but no one really gets to be picked up.
Oh!
No, like that. Oh my god.
Tooth is the one who's going to get those picks, yeah. Finding two and really just locking down that whole fight for Agony there.
I mean, you definitely needed that. Mega Smileys did, however, pop the Amplification Matrix just to force East Coast Convicts into basically a bottleneck position, allowing all those kills just to flow in. Now, Botnix does have that Tac Visor as well as Shrek 3 on DVD, and their Flux, they're popping it immediately. They want to go hard.
Yeah, they are committing so aggressively, and it's working out. I mean, Agony is struggling. Zach getting booped off by Corvus, and look at this point percentage they're building. They're able to fall back, start to like just give them a little bit of space, but they got 63% pap.
They do, and now both tank ults. Crockett has been able to build up that shadow, whereas Axew is kind of still lagging behind a little bit. That's
Fire Strike taking out 2 through Amplification Matrix. They can only Graphitic Flux to respond to this open. 3 from Strike 3 on DVD. Oh my gosh, but Hugh Jackman, they're still here. They're still trying. Accidentally doesn't throw the self-destruct, just places it. They want to push in here. They're trying, but in a trap pap, it's going to be Desperation Hour.
It is, but that is a really nice sim wall that will just get them half the point very, very easily and very safely while they wait for the rest of the team. That's a big pick, though, either side.
Yeah, losing Zach. There's a lot of speed gone. You can't escape the brawl as well. And now the flip does go back to East Coast Convict. Winter popping a good Riptide, taking out 2. And now it's looking really good for East Coast Convicts. There is an Amplification Matrix, but if you're dead, you can't shoot through it. And now Crockett trying to get back. Cannot touch it. East Coast Convicts going up 1 in our series.
That was so close, that last fight. It was a 2v2, but it just went the way of East Coast because they still had their BAP was still alive, able to keep the fight. Whereas on the other side, you know, you had Shrek 3 on DVD who did get a massive flux. I mean, look at that. That's a 3K right there. But unfortunately, just couldn't hold on for too much longer there. But, Apara, what a match. Oh.
Yeah, that's the Sigma gameplay I dream of. So loving to see it. And both teams are looking really solid. I mean, East Coast Convicts are looking pretty strong at the moment, but Agony, they found their groove and were able to take it back, especially once they decided to match the comp rather than try play something a little bit off.
It got closer. It definitely got closer. I mean, I think they were also going for a couple of boops there on Agony's side. You had that fire, you had the ball, so it's a good map to try and boot people around. You've got that verticality that ball kind of wants. Whereas on that side, you can play ball, but it's more like a spin to win character. You know, like a just got on point just in time, like old ball used to be. Now, though, they will be, you know, they have that Reinhardt because it's so close quarters and so personal. And it kind of came down to, you know, the Diva or the Sigma. Like, yes, the Sigma got some really good fluxes there, but I think overall the value more went to the Diva being able to eat all of that damage that came up. Whereas, you know, Sigma's shield, it can only really stop at, you know, the 700, and that can be gone in an instant, you know. Whereas even if Diva eats 700 damage in 1 second, she's still got that extra 3 seconds just to eat that little bit more that might be required. So it did go on their way, and I was going to comment that they will probably go onto King's Row like we've seen, but it seems like Agony's going to mix it up. Apara, my goodness.
Yeah,
do they need a stability check because they are going to Hollywood?
Maybe it's going to favor their comp more. Maybe they aren't as confident in that brawly style as we expect. Maybe they want to play Winston, Diva, Wrecking Ball, something like that. And so potentially going to Hollywood, you know, you've got that high ground, you've got a bit more rotation. Could also favor a bit of double shield. We saw Shrek 3 really good on that Sigma. So I don't know how Crockett plays Orisa, but maybe that's what they're looking for as well. So there's potential value.
Yeah, we saw a bit of dive from Agony, and you can definitely play Hollywood dive defense and offense pretty much the whole way through, especially second point. I mean, you got those 2 buildings to come from. Yes, you can play Orisa, but right now where the sort of the meta seems to be is a lot of speed and a lot of aggression immediately. So unless you've got like a really good Orisa, the BAP, and then just a ton of poke to stop them coming any closer, it can be a little bit hard on Hollywood first point because, yes, you've got that choke, but if you can just sim TP or speed hard left and then do some rotations, you might just be able to out-rotate the Orisa. So I'm expecting much the same from East Coast Convicts, but I reckon Agony might switch it up for that dive.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably the call for this map because King's Row, it does tend to favor that all-out brawly comp style. So I think that's what we're going to see here. And I mean, realistically, I just am kind of excited to see a different map from usual.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, I have grown to love Hollywood, especially because, like, yes, King's Row is awesome. I will happily admit that any day of the week, but there's something also so special about the versatility of compositions that you can run. Like you can definitely run most of them on King's Row as well, but because of you got more height, you got more open space than King's Row, so it just allows for those crazier plays from left, right, good night. So it seems with East Coast Convicts, they have switched up. They will be defending first, and they will be running the Brawl with Winter on the May, just to stop anyone from being able to dive on them too easily or wall them off. But I don't think wall is going to be too much of an issue for Agony, as they seem to be running that quite divey, highly mobile, except for the supports. So if you can somehow be able to pick off the supports, but Corvus will be protecting Mega Smileys on that brig. Yes, they will have botniks on the Reaper, so they just want to get up really close and personal, but they're still maintain quite that brawly sort of style.
Yeah, I think that's exactly going to be who you're going to watch out for, is botniks getting up close and personal. You can see them already teleporting all the way up into the backline here, but the focusing being from Sabretooth is actually putting a lot of pressure now onto Hugh Jackman. Botniks is taken out, however, by a skew there, and now we are going to see East Coast Convicts just get really aggressive and try to get those finishing few picks as they try to return to spawn.
Botniks immediately switched off the Reaper, didn't really like the amount of poke that can come out from Winter and JEEF Beef, so has gone onto that 76 for the tack visor, and Mega Smileys, Apara, already has Nano. Already.
Oh, wow.
And another thing that's already happened is the unfortunate Botniks pick. You can see how hard they want East Coast Convicts this defense. Look at that walls of pressure. Buys them time.
Dare I say, they're just trying to play for us so we don't have the Opapa curse of 10 maps. You never really know here. Maybe that's what it is. Crockett now is finally starting to get aggressive, jumping into the backline, but Snow popping the amplification matrix. The Nano is on Crockett, but when there's a blizzard freezing you up, and Nano isn't going to be much help there. And once again, losing Crockett, Corvus gets found by the Cassidy, and it's just another call to fall back. Even though a skew is down, it's just, you just want to go back to spawn.
You're going to have to, yeah. I think Zach would probably go back, just carry that Reinhardt, taxi to Reinhardt back. I mean, you can see he's going back right now, so he'll be back in time. And yeah, JEEF Beef on the Cassidy already with the high noon. Then you've got Zach already with the beat, so they're looking really nice here, East Coast Convicts. They will beat very early. They're not even I think you just wait if you're Agony here, Apara. There's no reason to push.
Yeah, they do rally, and they dupe as well. They've got the duplication from Sabretooth on the field, but so much pressure just immediately duplicates them. JEEF Beef and Winter are both now taken down. Self-destruct from Hugh Jackman doesn't really connect onto too much, but the charge onto Botniks could give East Coast Convicts the value they need to try and keep this fight alive. Even though they've lost Hugh Jackman, if Execute can stay alive, they cannot through the anti-nade, and that is going to be finally their first point captured for KE Agony.
Sorry, my Ana and I just got too excited. That was a beautiful nade. Yeah, Mega Smileys as well still got to keep that Nano, so because you got the Winston, they'll be able to push up, although East Coast Convicts are wise to this, and they're already taking that high ground to make it just that little bit harder for Agony. But what? Losing that pick is going to be a little tricky, and that pick just adds a little bit more spice to the meatballs.
That is going to make it so hard now for Agony to continue pushing this payload. And yeah, I would fall back too. However, Crockett and Sabretooth are now both back here. So we're going to see whether Crockett is going to actually be able to blast off and dive onto someone properly, or whether they are just going to explode in atmosphere again. Hopefully not. Here he goes. Good bubble already taken out so quickly. You just got to play it so safe here. Blizzard coming up from Winter, zoning out all of Agony, and Botniks gets found. Headshot from JEEF Beef. This is a really solid defense from East Coast. They're just putting in so much work right now to keep this fight alive, and it's working wonders. Primal Rage is being forced out, and because of that, the Shatter is able to come through as well. It's not really connecting on too much. JEEF Beef pops the Deadeye, takes out Crockett. No Angry Monkeys on that Cassidy's field right now, and finally Agony, they are opening up this fight, but there's so much pressure from East Coast Convicts still. It's just looking a hard fight for Agony as they finally seem to win it.
That was a... Bye.
There we go.
With that Axe W or Axe U falling, so that will signify the cart finally moving. But I do agree. East Coast Convicts, they're taking the fights and the defense very slowly, and that's fine. You want that. It's burning time off Agony, and you can tell that they're really thinking it through. What ultimates are we going to use? When are we going to shatter? And unfortunately for Axio, it just didn't quite work out there. That Shadow Ray not really landing onto anybody. Agony, though, they're looking really nice there with Shrek 3 on DVD. Now has that grab. They will be dragging, though, without the grab.
There's the grab there. I think they miscommunicated on what in order to do it. The sound barrier keeps everyone alive with the grab, except for Shrek 3 on DVD. And now the Tech Visor does take out two, however. And this cart is still pushing through, and they managed to capture it.
They got the cart.
Wow.
They forgot the point, and then they forgot the cart. Highly unfortunate. Oh no, that is not what they needed there. They wanted that point. They really wanted to take the high ground there, Agony, but they were so fixated. Sorry, my apologies, East Coast Convicts. But they were so fixated that they just completely missed out on the cart. I mean, they threw the bomb in. They really wanted to get, I think it was Bodniks on the high ground there, but just created the perfect distraction. They'll be popping really early here. Apara bubble burnt down very fast.
Yeah, and the immediate callback. I mean, Tech Visor is, sorry, not Tech Visor, Amplification Matrix is gonna zone them out there. And now we've got the Nano coming through. Blizzard once again just making this Nano onto Croc again, zero value whatsoever. And now Shannon onto the ground. Crockett is not allowed to play this game. I feel so bad for them.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, this is looking like a pretty solid hold once again for East Coast Convicts.
Yeah, yes, it is. And they'll only get, I think Snow will be coming up with the Amplification Matrix soon. Agony, though, they've still got the Primal Raging Winston and Shrek 3 on DVD, and Volknix calling ever closer. Here comes the Amplification Matrix already. Tech Visor also popped.
Yeah, there's a lot going, a lot of ults being thrown out. Tech Visor, Primal Rage, Dragon Strike. They want this win badly. K Agony, they want a little bit of time back on their hands here, and they are getting the kills. Finally coming through. JEEF Beef now being taken out, and it's going to come down to Zach to boost the team along. But the grab is so good, making sure it's just an any touch.
That was a very good attack there. Really unfortunate. C9 completely missed the I just felt like a quad in the top right.
Unfortunate that wasn't during the match and after
sooner,
the match.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Anyway,
wow,
a series of unfortunate events for East Coast Convicts just led Agony to have some time in the bank. It is just under a minute, however, so it's going to be really close. And we saw how good East Coast Convicts can be on their offensive routes. I should just say attacking, because, I mean, their Lijiang Tower was just brutal once they were on that point. So it's going to be hard to dislodge if they're able to get there fast enough. It seems like they want to take a leaf out of Agony's book here and actually dive. JEEF Beef, we haven't seen a Tracer, in fact, for quite a while, Apara, you and I. But they'll be going into that back line. But yeah, they're going to have to watch out for the Swedish meatball Torbjorn himself, who will be playing on that high ground, and that one shot hit to the head of Tracer is going to be, they're going to really have to watch out for that one. But yeah, it seems they're going to play quite a bit of a waiting game. Definitely can't be as brawly as the one that Agony is playing. You're going to have to wait for Winter's hacks. It's going to require a lot more communication. The hacks are either going to go on, I would say, Crockett, if he was to get a bit of an iffy dive, or maybe the Torbjorn.
Oh. And there it is, immediately hacked Crockett, and Askew trying desperately to get some damage onto Crockett, but Crockett does survive, manages to play around that corner perfectly on points to make sure that they don't take too much damage and feed immediately here. Now Askew takes a big anti-nade to the face, has to pull back to the rest of the team, and because of that, I mean, this is such a slow push here, jumping up onto the high ground, and I mean, this is looking like a solid defense for Agony so far. The anti-nades coming through are so good by Mega Smileys, and because of that, it's putting a lot of pressure on this team to push. It's finally pushing up the Nano so quickly. That Nano is going to burn through. Even though the turret takes out Winter, we see a Primal Rage all the way back at practically their spawn location here. Sabretooth is putting in a lot of work, but it doesn't really matter when the rest of your team is dead, and that is going to be East Coast Convicts taking that first point.
That was really well played, especially East Coast Convicts losing a player towards the very end. Towards the beginning. And then Snow, that was a great nano. Askew was Axew was able just to go absolutely ham. And I mean, now Agony, they will be taking, because they died quite early into that fight, they will be able to take that high ground very quickly. Mega Smileys now does have a nano of their own, probably onto, ooh, there we go. There's that headshot I was talking about. That's JEEF Beef gone out of this fight. It's a lot of pressure alleviated, although they will still have to look out for Winter. Surely Agony's been scrimming East Coast Convicts. You can tell that they know that they like to run this Sombra sort of style. So that's why they've instantly gone to that Torbjorn pick. And it has paid off so far, but Crockett again coming up with the goods.
Oh, Crockett though getting taken out and a post bomb put on their body just for good measure there. This point now can start pushing along for East Coast Convicts, and this fight, there's so many different little micro fights happening. JEEF Beef trying to take out Corvus here, and Corvus just managing to survive but cannot get the health pack because it's hacked. So because of that, I mean, these micro fights are just giving this payload room and room to move, and then Sabretooth getting taken out all alone. It's a messy fight, Pat.
It's just everywhere all at once. I mean, right now there's a fight going on the cart, then there's a fight between Botniks and Askew, but now it does seem like East Coast Convicts will come up on top here and take a little bit more of an offensive position, just getting ready for Agony's defense. They will be able to touch at least one more time, especially with the amount of ults that they've been banking up. 6 ultimates here of Para. Surely they'll make something happen here as the dive comes through.
There is also a rally from Corvus trying to keep it alive. Rally now coming out from Zach as well. Both brigades trying to keep this fight alive, and Winter's actually going to fall because of the rally. Out comes a Primal Rage pushing Hugh Jackman into a corner, but Zach's also going to be pushed into the corner. Can they survive it? Unfortunately not, as Zach does get taken down, and now Agony, they're starting to look a little dominant, even though they're all over the place once again. Keep an eye out for XU trying to backcap, but the supports know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can. I think this is gonna be a really late pick. And oh, never mind. he's gonna pop Primal. Okay. He just waved hello and then kept going.
You know what? If it works, it works. He may lose.
He got out alive. You know.
Yeah.
Fault for man. He got out.
Yeah. Oh man, and once again, jumping up onto the high ground with the Nano Askew getting up close and personal, but the Tech Visor at the point is going to make it really hard for them to push. Self-destruct, however, taking out Corvus, and now East Coast Convicts, they're going to start looking for an opportunity to go through, and Sabretooth falling to Winter could be that opportunity. Going off the Sombra onto the Cassidy could be such a good play here, just giving a little bit more damage. Maybe you don't need that hack coming through, and yeah, now XQ putting in a lot of pressure onto the tanks, giving JEEF Beef enough value to take out Crockett with a weird headshot. Grab comes out, keeping everyone at that doorway, but that payload can continue pushing even though they're stuck in their doorway. And yeah, East Coast Convicts cap it with 3 minutes to the board.
Yeah, they were just able to camp that doorway and not let any of Agony just think about touching. They've got 3 minutes now, East Coast Convicts, to take this one. I do like the switch from Winter there. Oh, a nice little late pick. I do like the switch from Winter to Cassidy because they just needed that little bit more defense in the back as well as the more consistent damage. Because the hacks were okay from Winter, but because of the way that East Coast Convicts, Agony's composition sort of works, it doesn't like you hack one guy. It's like it's not like a brawl style. Mega Smileys, these antis are ridiculously good.
Out comes a Molten Core, but most of it gets eaten up by Hugh Jackman. However, because of that, Botnix and Crockett are going to get a lot of damage and force East Coast Convicts all the way back to spawn there, right back to your home. And again, Hugh Jackman getting staggered.
Oh, again, it's all off Mega Smileys. That anti-nade, who was the first two people to fall? The people that got anti-naded on East Coast Convicts, so they're playing really, really well off Mega Smileys. And I think if they keep doing that, although Mega Smileys is taking a very offensive Ana position, I must admit. However, they will be nanoing Askew as he goes in pretty hard.
Yeah, Skew wants to take out Mega Smileys. I think they've also noticed how much value Mega Smileys is getting their self-destruct into a backline of just Shrek 3 on DVD, but the remake is going to get the kill instead. Corvus now falling to Winter, and oh, look at this fight. This fight is looking so good for East Coast Convicts right now, but Crockett throwing out a Primal Rage, just trying to stop this payload from moving, and because of that, Zac is falling. And now, Agony, they're pretty much fully back here. Meanwhile, East Coast Convicts are still waiting on a couple of players, namely Zac, to come back from spawn. Hugh Jackman, she falls on that payload, can't get a remake, unfortunately, and wow, Agony managed to hold it there.
They do, and because they were able to hold it with not too many ultimates in use, you've still got Shrek 3 DVD with that Graviton, and Sabretooth will be at the the Dragons in no time too, so that's a very easy fight. And there's another anti-nade. Oh, it does get taken out though, so that's really, really big. That's a lot of healing gone.
And with the duplicated Winston from JEEF, even though there's a grab Dragons, this fight could still look good for East Coast. No, okay, never mind. There goes JEEF. I thought maybe the duplicate could do something, and Winter thought so too as they popped the Deadeye, and now the time back's looking in favor of Agony.
Yeah, 40 seconds remaining here. JEEF has gone over to the Reaper for last second, but nothing really. You've got both tank ults coming up. Oh no! Oh, brutal. Snow has the Nano too, so possibly going on to Askew, just giving a little bit more power to the electricity. But yeah, Agony just sitting so nice here with all the ults. They're pushing up so hard.
Yeah, careful to not get too aggro. I mean, I guess you can get aggro if you're getting the kills, and even though Askew is sleeping in your backline, they are sleeping, and that's all that matters. JEEF taking their anti-nade to the face, and now Primal Rage getting thrown out, but nobody is touching this point, and this overtime is going to tick away, and Agony managed to come back, taking the series 1-1.
Yes, 1-1. I know it was looking in East Coast Convicts' favor after Lijiang Tower, but Agony, it was their map pick, and clearly they knew what they were doing. I mean, those dragons.
Yeah.
So good. So good. I think that was really well played there by Agony. They kept up a very consistent, defense the whole way through, except for the accidental C9 on their end, but that's okay. No, but I think it was really, really well played the entire way through. Agony now take it 1-1. It is East Coast Convicts. They'll be able to pick the next map, which is either Junkertown, Watchpoint Gibraltar, or Dorado. Based off the fact that they like playing dive quite a bit, I would say Watchpoint Gibraltar is looking more in favor, especially the first and second points. You've got so much high ground in the second point using that spaceship, and then whenever I say spaceship, I instantly think of the Lego from the Lego movie. Spaceship! Anyway, then you got Dorado. I mean, Dorado, they have been playing that more brawly style with that Reaper, so you can definitely bring that Reaper in for Sabretooth at the very least here and get them to push up onto that high ground a lot easier. The defense as well, even on second point, will be great.
Yeah, oh, absolutely right. And it looks like we are going Dorado as you say that as well. So I think it could be a smart pick. I mean, ECC, they know that they can take the brawl fights a little bit better. So maybe that's what they're opting to try and do here, since they managed to do really well on these young towers. So try and get Agony off that sort of Winston playstyle. Even though Dorado does still take it, this could be a way to do that.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to shake Agony up, the best place you could take them if your team is comfortable would be Junkertown, because you got all that open space. That is where Poke belongs. You can get that double sniper, you can get the Hanzo out to just burn down a Winston should they even attempt to get any closer, and that's where you can pull out the Orisa. But we haven't seen much Poke from any of these teams, so I do agree. Dorado is perfect for that brawl style should they want to play that. We've seen a lot of that loose from Zach as well on Lijiang, so they might want to just keep up that aggression there. Agony, like I said, they can definitely make it work here, but East Coast Convicts, they must have something planned. But like I said in Hollywood, I reckon in scrims they've versed each other many, many times. This map pool has now been around, especially if you're only playing and scrimming ASCENT. This map pool has been around for about 6 weeks, so they've had plenty of time to figure each other out and what they do like to play. So that's why you had Sabretooth immediately on that Torbjorn, knowing that Winter and JEEF Beef would want the Tracer. So they've read each other like books now for 6 weeks. So will we see anything different just to shake it up a little bit?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they opt for. I mean, ECC, I think so far are looking quite versatile. They seem to be comfortable playing a lot. Agony look a little bit more comfortable on that dive play style, but they did manage to take a couple of fights with that brawly fight. I think it's still anyone's game up in the air, and dare I say, the Opapa curse of 5 maps, it's still alive right now.
Oh, it's very much alive.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm excited.
Oh goodness. I'm casting tomorrow. Will I bring the Opapa curse with me? It all depends on tonight. Everything clings on to tonight. I'll just be like, passed out after this. Just gone.
Yeah, you'll have casted so much you won't know what's going on. You'll be dreaming of teams fighting each other in Overwatch. I believe it.
I'll just get this twitch as I cast. Apara, run to our this map. No, absolutely, I absolutely love it. I love it how it hasn't been one-sided at all. Exactly. Except that second point. But let's just ignore that. We're just gonna put that to the side. That second point C9, that didn't happen.
No, not at all. What are you talking about?
No.
Did not exist.
And even the Lijiang Tower, which wasn't, it never really went into Agony's favor. It still went 99-99 that last map there, and they definitely don't have any plans in switching it up. And why should they? I mean, Agony played an exceptional Reinhardt, and I mean, I know as East Coast Convicts has the Mega Smileys, but I cannot give enough credit to these Ana players either side. Yeah. You can tell that why Ana is getting that value each and every fight, and have been doing so well. I'm sorry, Mega Smiley's on Agony. But Agony's been doing so well of getting on top of East Coast Convicts, and I think they really won, I reckon, 50% of those fights, thanks to using those anti-nades and getting such fast nanos. And I think you pointed out this last map is they've been taking full advantage, and East Coast Convicts saw that and immediately started going off Mega Smile. It's like, we're getting anti too much, get him. But because of that, Mega Smileys was so well protected there from Corvus, they couldn't really take him out. Even once that happened, he still had that grab, he still had the dragons to fall back on. But here we are on Dorado, and it seems like they will be running the dive comp for Agony, and then on the other side, East Coast Convicts will also be running dive, but there will be a difference in the DPS here with, I think a little bit more of the Doomfist for Sabretooth, whereas Agony, they're going to look for some picks, maybe towards the beginning with Winter on the Widow, but might not stick to it, especially when Sabretooth comes at you from the moon for a rising uppercut.
Yeah, this Sabertooth pick could be crucial in winning a lot of team fights. I mean, Doomfist can just take 1 or 2 picks, especially if they can find snow on Arna. Zach now opting to go the Brig, and I think that's a safe bet, especially when you find out there's a Doomfist flying around. So we're gonna see how East Coast Convicts try to take this fight. They're gonna just slowly push the payload, you know, typical, see how far we can get it before we have to commit to a fight. And up goes Askew. Askew seems to be diving quite a lot alone, which is an interesting play style. Here comes Sabertooth, finding that Winston, not managing to get the pick, but does manage to get away to a bit of safety. And now Askew getting body blocked in that doorway. Crockett manages to take them out so cleanly here. And yeah, you just see Hugh Jackman, they are falling right back. They don't want to risk it. Winter getting pressured by Sabertooth, but Sabertooth also getting pressured by Hugh Jackman. There they go. Winter does fall, but I mean, I think for now we should see East Coast Convicts slowly start to unlock this fight, Pat.
I think so. I mean, losing Sabertooth early, they have switched over to the Widow. We see a really cheeky JEEF beef on the Tracer going behind here, Apara, looking for a quick pick. Doesn't really get much. Really nice peel for their Arna. Sabertooth coming up with the first pick. Huge headshot to the Cassidy of Winter.
And that's why you swap off, I guess. If you know you can play that Widow well, it's going to work. And Mega Smileys once again showing us why they play Arna, taking down their Arna counterpart. There goes Zach in this fight on the high ground. Well, Corvus may fall. No, they managed to boot back XQ, and they managed to survive. Well done, Corvus. Now just fighting a Tracer on your payload.
I think, yeah, they did, JEEF beef 1 HP and a dream. Oh my gosh. Might be able to get out with their life. I think so. But I love these the rotations here from East Coast Convicts. Doing very well of having that keep reverting to defense. That boot was insane. The Nano Winston won't be able to get much value because of that.
And now there's a tack visor on that high ground, putting a lot of pressure into Shrek there onto Hugh Jackman even. Sabertooth finishing off Hugh Jackman in that DMAC, and there goes JEEF beef to a Helix rocket. And wow, they're really shutting this push down every time.
They are. I mean, that's why you take this Brig against Askew, and I think you were the one that pointed this out. They're just diving alone, it feels like, Askew. Like, East Coast Convicts, they're kind of working as that team, staying really close together and almost counter-diving Askew whenever they decide to try and jump in. Although now Sabertooth will have the sight, so they're going to pop immediately, it seems. So they're going to really watch out Agony not to get picked off like that. JEEF beef goes down fast.
Yeah, and because of that, I mean, this fight is really just looking in favor once again of Agony. Sabertooth is able to just look directly down that staircase and pump pressure in because they know exactly where you are.
With 1 minute remaining now, they have popped Rally pretty early into this fight. Nano, but pushed away again. Oh
my gosh. You Corvus. So good on this Brig, getting those boops with the whip shot. Now Crockett and Botnick's putting in a lot of work trying to keep this fight alive for Agony, even though they have lost Mega Smileys, dare I say, one of their most important pieces of the puzzle. They still don't really care because they've got Corvus on board the whip shot to finish off Zach with the help of Crockett, and another solid defense.
30 seconds remaining. They have oh, never mind. JEEF beef got taken down. I was about to say a very small window where Mega Smileys isn't quite back yet, but the Nano is almost locked and loaded for them. On the other side, though, Agony, they don't really have too much to play for, especially with a little bit of a switch from JEEF beef. But Sabertooth being taken out might a little bit of a window opening, but does get antied in the process.
Yeah, there we go. That's going to unlock a 3 hack from an EMP. Winter desperately wanting to get this payload moving for East Coast Convicts here. And now Zach getting the whip shot onto Corvus. JEEF beef. The Genji pick is good enough to take out Mega Smileys, and maybe that was the call. However, Sabertooth off the Widow, now back onto the Doomfist, gets hacked immediately and just removed from the fight. Doomfist's struggle when the Sombra's on board, and East Coast Convicts do manage to get the point.
I wonder if Sabertooth will immediately just switch back off when you see that Sombra, because even if you do try and dive, we'll actually go for the mirror.
Match it.
Yeah, actually match it. I mean, fair enough too. You just get that EMP bomb and it's basically a fight win. Although having said that, with this team, it's really hard to get all 6. It's not like it's a brawl, so it is a little bit tougher to get that combo off. JEEF Beef gone on to the Genji, though. The overtime team has now pushed in the Nano Boop again. Has had a shocker.
These poor nanos. I feel like Corvus is holding the whip shot for whenever a nano monkey jumps into their face, and it has worked time and time again. Now Crockett forced to pop that primal rage, but JEEF Beef's Genji swap is putting in a lot of work. No more Sombras on either field. Out comes the self-destruct, doesn't connect onto much, and there are picks just going both sides right now. Should hopefully probably favor the defense here, especially as attack visor on the higher ground is going to put a lot of pressure onto East Coast Convicts, fighting on the payload. Corvus's rally as well, keeping whoever's on the payload alive, and the hack onto Zach. Zach is going to fall so quickly, and once again East Coast Convicts going to have to wait and spawn.
They will, but East Coast Convicts, they do have a couple of ultimates for their next defense. They have Mega Smileys. Of course, the anti-nades have been beautiful, as always, but then coming with the Nano, the big thing, though, 60 seconds remaining on the clock. Snow and JEEF Beef have that Nano Blade locked and loaded. You've also got both tank ults. Here it comes, immediately gonna pop it. There went
Botnick's getting taken out quickly, goes up to the high ground, finds another 2. JEEF Beef desperately wanting to win this. Once again, East Coast Convicts getting into that crucial time of the last couple of seconds so that they can cap here, and it looks like this payload is going to cruise on through.
Yeah, I think so. 30 seconds remaining there. Winter and Sabretooth, I've got a point. Oh, never mind. It's okay. I was going to point out they're really close to EMP. There will be a last second little touch here. Another massive anti-nade, this time from Snow. Forces East Coast Convicts back out. They will be safe, though, for the time being. Askew will have that primal rage. Look how far he's pushed. You might actually have to pop it just to live here.
Oh, yeah. Primal rage getting forced, and you get hacked as well. So much damage. Sabretooth getting that kill here, and now Botnick sleeping on the high ground. This payload is going to continue pushing along for East Coast Convicts there. EMP is shooting from Sabretooth. Is there going to be enough follow-up? As Sabretooth falls, Crockett gets the nano to take out Zach, and now getting really aggressive, and yeah, once again East Coast Convicts are falling back. No, they are. The tanks are getting a little bit aggressive as your supports are falling back, I guess.
Yeah, it's this is the last. I reckon it's the last good fight that Agony now have on their offense. Winter has the EMP. You've got Snow on with the Nano. So who do you go for? The EMP just the tanks here.
That's the good EMP, though. I think that could get a lot of value if the damage comes through. This Farisov is a bit interesting here. Now we do see Shrek 3 on DVD getting taken out by Hugh Jackman, and a lot of damage coming onto Crockett. Anti-nade as well. Forces out a primal rage. Botnick's desperately trying to make sure that this payload does not make any more progress, and look at that fight, just Botnick's versus Hugh Jackman. There's no sort of support for Botnick's right now, apart from Anna up on the higher ground. Has to fall back to payload there. Zach getting up close to personal, manages to finish off Botnick's. Corvus now working with Crockett to stop this payload from moving. Nano goes on to Crockett, and Zach is taking so much damage, manages to get the stun and the whipshot shot, but the supports are getting harassed by this Winston. However, meanwhile, this payload is starting to push along. It's slowly starting to push with the help of Hugh Jackman. We do see a Skew falling back, and Botnick just throws out a Death Blossom. Botnick's getting close in this backline, really working hard, but Hugh Jackman's working harder. This is the 4th kill. Desperately, they want to get this cap here. Pushing up, getting aggressive. Mega Smiley does take out Snow, and the self-destruct. Oh, the uppercut forces them off payload.
Oh, that was so close by East Coast Convicts.
Yeah.
Really good defense there. Last second from Agony, just able to stop the payload. That's a win condition right there. Yes, it's going to be a big uphill battle with East Coast Convicts now on the defense here, but oh man, that went so back and forward. But Hugh Jackman, she was able to keep the fight going for so much longer than than East Coast Convicts were ever going to be able to hope for. And even though the bash of that shut down Botnick's Death Blossom, they were still able to wrap up the kills because unfortunately, the supports, they were kind of just left on their lonesome with the nanoed Winston and then Botnick's coming down. There's only so much you can really do.
Yeah, I mean, Agony must be feeling good about this now. They don't even have to take like a second round if they get the full cap. They just need to push practically all the way to the end. That's got to feel good, just in terms of your mental state being ready. Yeah, exactly right. And so it's gonna put East Coast Convicts through a lot of hard work now.
Oh, I don't know if you can see this, but Axew is on a very bizarre position, top left of spawn here. He's going to go instantly down and have the pack just to jump back up. I just got to point out really quick, Sabretooth is on that far, and that will force East Coast Convicts, the supports, and Winter to be really careful holding that high ground for too long without getting picked.
Yeah, this pharmacy pick could be a really smart call. They notice Jeef Beef racing up to the top there. That teleport did not work out in Jeef Beef's favor, as Sabretooth can just pop them off. Botnick's now going up onto the high ground, putting a lot of pressure, and these rockets are just falling onto snow. This is looking really hard for East Coast Convicts to find a solution right now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a head scratcher, especially because you've put Winter on the Cassidy, and yet not enough space was really provided for Winter to have that clean shot. Jeef Beef has gone onto the 76 to help his fellow DPS out, taking Sabretooth from the skies, but then you've got to look out for Botnick's as well. So there's so much pressure from the ground and from the sky, and it's just too much as the payload just rolls through Apara, and that's another really late pick as well onto Winter and Snow. That will allow Agony to take that high ground really aggressively here, although no one's really on cart pushing it along so far, and it seems like there will be a bit of a walk of shame back to, the win condition.
Yeah, that's a little bit important, but I mean, look at this time bank, Pep. Even though
it's massive, right?
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting to see how East Coast Convicts are going to try take this fight. Obviously, opting for this high ground. Sabretooth now found by Jeef Beef. Jeef Beef putting in a lot of pressure onto Sabretooth, but the pharmacy play is just so good. Corvus really quickly
trying to answer this. There's a nano. Will it become a barrage? But you can see they're trying to answer this with Zach on the Mercy, but it's not really coming out to anything. Crockett, though, does get Snow.
Yes, Crockett taking out Snow. That could be really good for this push here, even though you got a couple missing. Here comes the self-destruct, doesn't get much, but Winter's Deadeye taking out Corvus. And I mean, that's going to be a definite take anyone in the sky out sort of ultimate. And that's looking good for East Coast.
It is, and yeah, I think the Mercy pick is really, really crucial to be able to just burn down the pharmacy in the sky. Would you go for the 76 or the Cassidy to damage boost? That's kind of up to preference, but more Winter if it's up close and personal. They've popped the Death Blossom, but nothing's going to come up of it. It's DM'd and then headshot. Oh, brutal.
Yeah. Winter really shutting down Botnick's, noticed it quickly, and now Askew popping that Primal Rage, getting chased down by Crockett here. Sabretooth's Rocket Barrage taking out two. No more supports, but Sabretooth does fall because of it, but missing these supports could give value, but if you're just good at getting kills, it may not matter. Jeef Beef now throwing out that attack visor on the high ground. Crockett gets the shield off just in time to stay alive, and this fight might be looking in the favor of Agony as Botnick gets forced down to the back down to the payload even. Sabretooth has now returned, and this Valkyrie comes out from Zach. This fight is still live and functioning right now. We see Askew jumping up onto the high ground. Crockett just chasing after them. There's something that's really interesting. Crockett constantly chasing them down, and this is such a messy fight. Out comes the grab from Shrek 3 on DVD, and surely now this payload pushes through as Zach falls to Crockett, right?
Yeah, I mean, there really is only a diva on point now for East Coast Convicts. They're even going to pop. I think it's actually winnable now because the support's been able to come back. They're allowed for the remake. There's a Crockett Desperation Primal for everyone to get off the payload, but with Shrek 3 on DVD, and there's also, a nice sleep, but a little bit too late to save their Winston, and there will be a full retreat from Agony, as there was a beautiful recapture as Convicts was nearing the end of their defense for point B, but because of that, they hold a really powerful defensive position now. 2 minutes remaining here, Apara, and you're looking for JEEF beef with the attack visor from the high grounds.
Yeah, that's gonna be. It's going to be a solid hold if they're able to do it here. And I think it comes down to Sabertooth just getting a couple of picks for their team.
Yeah, and also Mega Smileys, the brilliant artist that we've seen so far, has the nano too. So either going on Sabertooth again as it's nearing Barrage, or perhaps going onto the Monkey.
Yeah, Crockett getting really deep now, but Snow takes out Sabertooth, and there goes Corvus as well, losing so much damage, so much spam damage gone, and Crockett really couldn't get too much value. Finally takes out Snow, but the rest of your team's dead.
Yeah, look, Axew was in the backline right on top of Mega Smileys and Shrek 3 on DVD. He was trying furiously to protect their Ana, but it just didn't work out. Nice little sleep though onto Axew, brought them very, very low. Nearly had to pop Primal just to stay alive here. But this last kind of fight is going to be really, really close, but it's mostly in East Coast Convicts' favor here, as they've got 4 ultimates in their back pocket, especially the likes of JEEF Beef and you know, the bomb of Hugh Jackman.
Oh, and Askew getting all deep onto Mega Smileys there. That is not good, but they do manage to get the res. Pops the Valkyrie as well on both sides, to be fair. Snow gets taken out by Sabertooth now, and there goes Zach. No more supports. This could be really good. Sabertooth now taking out Winter as well. That is absolutely going to open up this fight, but JEEF Beef doesn't want it to stop just yet. Pops the attack by Isaac, but Shrek 3 on DVD binds them, and this could be it for Agony. They may be able to finally push through as long as East Coast Convicts can't get back.
No, I mean, maybe a last little touch there from Hugh Jackman, but I think they thought better of it. She was just like, yeah, nope. I'm out. Next point, please. And they can afford that. 1 minute, 30 seconds. That's about two and a half decent fights here. And Agony, they did have to pop a couple, but Mega Smileys now has that nano again. Little anti-net onto Crockett, just slowing down their already extremely aggressive push. But an equal one. Here comes the nano, instantly slept though.
Yeah, that nano's gonna get no value, and the Deadeye right in your face. You have to pop a bubble to stay alive, but actually Askew jumps into their death as Crockett was getting aggro there. Primal Rage onto Snow, but meanwhile back at this payload, Hugh Jackman once again putting in a lot of work, taking out Shrek 3 on DVD, and she really knows how to play this diva to an extraordinary level.
Yeah, I'd say both of these divas are really, really high players. I mean, we did hear, I think it was on the side of Agony, where they have like some mid-plats to GM players. So you can expect some really amazing plays of any one of these players here. But I reckon this is last fight. 30 seconds remaining here, Apara. You've got the bomb. You've got Sabertooth instantly popping dragons. I think just to push people off the high ground. But here comes the nano from Askew. Can they get anything?
Interesting how they had the nano, so they just jumped head first into the dragons. Didn't even care, but JEEF is going to be the one that puts in the work. They're taking out 2 res onto Winter as well, so now it's looking really solid defense for East Coast Convicts. Crockett drops down onto the payload, and the self-destruct from Shrek 3 on DVD isn't going to find too much there. Hugh Jackman doesn't really manage to get a remake just yet, desperately trying to build it up. It gets taken out by Shrek 3 on DVD. Askew, Primal Raging, but getting taken out. They're not getting kills even. Mega Smiley dying to Winter, and that's going to just be Sabertooth stalling it out. And it looks like East Coast Convicts, they do manage to hold it. Wow.
Last second there, but really, really good hold. I think, you know, Agony, they lost 2 very early picks to some beautiful headshots off East Coast. So I think that, I mean, obviously, once you've lost the damage, it's very, very hard. And, you know, with the DPS comes their ultimates that have been lost and sent back to spawn. The Genji, it came through. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
The Genji was very good. I mean, I'm really impressed with how well East Coast Convicts burnt down that sort of 5-minute time bank on that Streets phase on on Dorado there, because like
Yeah.
it can be a mission too. Once you do manage to stop them at that last point, though, it's such a long walk back, and potentially I feel like Sabretooth may have stayed on the Pharaoh a little bit too long, considering that because of how much of a long walk back it is, Winter and JEEF Beef get so much value, so many sight lines to take you out. And even though there is that roof that you can play around, it seemed like it's got them a bit stuck.
Well, as soon as Agony lost that sort of Farah pick that they had there when they were up in the sky on first and second point, just being able to rain down rockets from above. Once they lost that ability to be able to, because you're indoors, so you can't really fly around as easily, it was harder to create that space for Crockett to be able to dive in and for the kills to really flow. They had to try a little bit of a different way, but by then they only had about a minute and a half to try and rebuild the ultimates for the DPS. So it didn't quite work out in the end for Agony, but it is their map pick as we move on to Assault, or 2CP as it's more widely known, of Temple of Anubis, Hanamura, or Volsky. It will be Agony's pick, and last time it was Agony's pick, they ended up winning on Hollywood. So based off what they're playing, I would say they're probably going for either Temple of Anubis or Volskaya Industries, as Hanamura is a little bit harder to play that dive, especially on first point. Second point, you can definitely make it work, however. But I think, based off gut, they will be playing a Temple of Anubis. You can get that Junkrat, you can play Sim, you can play the Farah, which we've seen Agony pull out as well with a lot of safety, because even on second point, you still got the skies to play around. You can play the Junk, which is just a classic on Temple of Anubis. So it would not surprise me at all, especially when you're considering as well that they've been playing that Reaper, because Reaper can really teleport around the objective and really mix up the team of East Coast Convicts. However, East Coast Convicts are not to be counted out. Botniks, you can get that soldier onto the high ground and just decimate. We saw a little bit of a Widow as well from Sabretooth, I believe it was, and we can see that they can clearly click heads, and Temple of Anubis is perfect for that Apara, because you've got the really long sight lines down point A. So even if we do see the likes of Winter pulling out the Farah, it's gonna be a bit of an uphill battle.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really hard for these teams to try push in, especially if they do set up some kind of double sniper. We saw Sabretooth play it on Dorado just before and really put in a lot of value here. Once again, teams are going to be swapping sides. So it's going to be...
My little note.
It's going to be very confusing.
I've never had to swap around my
Yeah, it's a bit confusing for our brains to figure this out there. But yeah, Sabretooth on Agony, running that Widow, really putting in a lot of pressure. So I think we'd have to see JEEF Beef either go on that, maybe Genji to get up close and personal again, or the Hanzo. It's interesting to see, really.
Whatever I said, just flip it in your hand.
Just turn it around. Yeah.
They don't let me know, and I've probably got my eyes closed while I'm also I'm trying to look at the camera as well. So they very sneakily change it. I got a message, and I think I thought one team was defending for the first half of it. So anyway. My apologies there. So let's consider that I did not cast a curse everybody just then.
Yeah, we were saying
Anubis and the whole, maybe it was Sabretooth in the sky instead the whole time. Anyway, no. Yeah. I think it will be Temple. If you do end up running Volsky Industries, which I do doubt, you can still play the Farah on the first point. But man, it has been, the whole time has been tooth and nail.
Yeah, these teams are looking really back and forth. Like Agony and East Coast Convicts are looking much closer than maybe originally Li Zhangtao was showing us, especially now that Agony get to run that comp that they obviously prefer of the Winston, of the Diva. We're jumping into Temple of Anubis, so once again, there is a lot of different comps you can run, but I feel like we could potentially see East Coast Convicts up for a brawl and just try run through point.
Yeah, I reckon I reckon you're right. I reckon they could just
Yeah.
run that brawl with the Lucio, but I mean, since Lijiang Tower, it's all been dominated by the Winston. And
Yep.
then it's all up to Hugh Jackman is mostly on Diva, whereas we've seen Shrek 3 on DVD. I love that name, by the way. Is either
Yep.
on a Sigma. They've played obviously the Diva as well, but they've also pulled out the Zarya, which has allowed Crockett a little bit more of the aggressive, more solo pushes that are safer than XQ, and they're more sort of riskier, definitely, because you got to have Hugh Jackman actually come with you to protect you with that defense matrix. And I mean, with the brawl, you usually have a bit of up close and personal, or at least hoping to create that sort of space for the picks of, it seems like Sabretooth will be playing on the Hanzo, and then Botniks will be just melting people however they please. On the other side, JEEF will be playing on that Doomfist, which will be absolutely brutal on the defense, especially because you've got that high ground pretty much locked and loaded.
Yeah, and it's going to put a lot of pressure onto Sabretooth as well, opting for the Widow, but with Doomfist getting up close and personal, yeah, Sabretooth already opting to swap off here. Doomfist now going to get aggro onto Botniks, and Botniks feels that force of JEEF, but the anti-nades are once again just so good. Mega Smileys is just absolutely onto it when they need to throw a biotic grenade here. Hugh Jackman on this high ground, but out comes Crockett trying to say hi, but takes so much damage.
No highs to him.
Kills exactly right. No hellos allowed as ECC gets so aggressive so quickly.
So quickly, and that was just all down to communication and positioning from XW. I don't know, they're going to correct me. I'm sure I'm going to get a DM.
Yeah.
You called me XQ the whole time, but it's actually XW. But yeah, Snow on the defense, however, they are coming up to the Nano, same as Mega Smiley, so probably fall into the next Winston coming in, which will be Crockett being burned down. Oh my goodness, didn't even have a chance.
Yeah, Winter is just so good at getting these headshots onto these Winstons, and we're seeing it time and time again. Nano now onto XW or Askew, and such aggression onto the support. Shrek 3 on DVD trying to help the supports out a little bit, but with the damage coming through, and now a Primal Rage. And meanwhile, JEEF is just free to reign. Anyone else, JEEF now arriving, getting the punch onto Corvus, and oh my gosh, this is just such aggression from East Coast Convicts here.
Yeah, now it's Agony's fight to hope. I mean, you'd hope that they'd win here. You've got the Nano that will probably go into either Crockett or maybe even Botniks, who's now just recently changed over to the Tracer, just trying to burn down. They're going to rally immediately, but then there's a counter rally from Zach.
Yeah, both rallies, and I mean, currently Zach is just trying to keep Snow alive with this rally. Winter gets taken out by Botniks, now on the Tracer, and Sabretooth taking out Zach. That's finally going to unlock this point for Agony with only a Primal Rage being committed. Oh no, Nano did get thrown out as well.
They did, and JEEF was able to get a little bit of a pick onto Mega Smileys, but it will eventually fall the way of Agony, who did have to use a couple of ultimates there. Nice little stagger, but again, as we all know, they now only have that second, so they can't snowball as easily. Agony, they were able to keep the two ultimates, really big two. Shrek 3 on DVD, they have that grab. You have the grab dragons coming up. On the other side, Hugh Jackman, she'll be looking for a big bomb if they really need to. That will probably just be popped on top of Point. Snow as well with that Nano. Probably going to go into XW as they do dive in. They do have a really nice position though on the high ground, ready just to jump in.
And there's the Nano, falls down onto Sabretooth, and so much damage immediately removed from this fight. JEEF helps XW take out Corvus as well here, and now just pure aggression from JEEF to finish that fight off.
Yeah, I think they just got split up so quickly that Agony weren't even able to pull out any of those combos that I mentioned there. I mean, Mega Smileys went down very fast. And yeah, now it's looking really nice for East Coast Convicts. They were able to just push them back for that first sort of possible snowball potential. And I just love all the different ways that XW and JEEF are holding. Like you see XW's now behind, and you've also got JEEF Beef on the high ground. Immediate dive in and Primal Rage just to dislodge everybody around.
Yeah, and that's just going to disrupt Time Bank as well as the players. Now, JEEF Beef coming through, and when you're in this long corridor, JEEF Beef really excels because he's just able to push you wherever he wants, and these punches are so aggressive right now. Corvus, however, is trying to keep the fight alive, and now Crockett as well, taking out Snow. JEEF Beef trying to find a little bit of value in the fight, but the Primal Rage is going to keep him alive, and the Dragon Strike from Sabretooth finishing off Xu. This is looking almost really good now, and we get a pause getting called through from, but wow, what aggression.
What aggression. And Sabretooth, that was from Spawn, Apara, that dragon.
Yeah.
You know, I think right now, Agony, I mean, it's clearly they're in a very, very good place to sit. But Crockett also just popped his Primal Rage, so just battering anybody that's trying to come back. JEEF Beef, though, will come back with oh my gosh, Meteor Strike. That was the ultimate I was thinking of. Yep. And you'll be able to pop it in Spawn a lot quicker to get back on. That's if he really has to. Obviously, if they want to hold on to it a little bit longer and actually get onto point, do a little bit of aggression, and then come down. But now with the second tick coming up and not many players really alive for East Coast Convicts, it's going to be very hard. You've got Hugh Jackman, she's just been demeched, if not killed, and then you've got Winter as well, the last really remaining good player for this point.
Yeah, and Winter is going to try their best to stagger it out, but with Crockett getting up close and personal underground, taking out Zach and Hugh Jackman, this is going to make it really difficult. Now JEEF Beef is popping out that Meteor Strike, going deep into the backline, but JEEF Beef does fall, and now Sabretooth taking out 3. That's probably going to unlock it for Agony to get...
Sabretooth!
Yeah, Sabretooth just went nuts!
She went nuts! That's headshot after headshot. That was brutal. But yeah, there you go. They had, I mean, Temple of Anu, 82 CP map is just known for the really long defensive holds, but the very quick shutdowns from Crockett and of course Sabretooth as well, just stopping anybody from coming out of spawn there, even landing headshots onto people, you know, on heroes like Tracer, which is exceedingly hard to try and hit such a fast and maneuverable hero. Now we switched it up though. East Coast Convicts will be on the attack. I think they'll run almost the same either side here, although I think it will be a Widow duel here. Winter and Sabretooth are going to be playing for basically who can pick each other off, and then you've got free range over trying to hit the Ana, trying to hit if you're East Coast Convicts, you're going to be trying to hit Botniks as well. But we can What else have we seen, Apara? We've seen some very aggressive monkeys. So, you know, if Sabretooth and Winter, if they happen to just be in the wrong place at the wrong time, they could just get blown up almost instantly.
Yeah, and I think the Winstons are going to have to work hard to put a lot of pressure onto these Widows as well. Potentially Hugh Jackman and Shrek 3 and DVD can also fly up close and personal, but that's what you want to see. You want to see these tanks just put a little bit of pressure onto the Widows so they can't just headshot and go away. Hugh getting slipped immediately, but Winter, there's the headshot right there. Winter opening up the fight very quickly with a headshot onto Sabretooth, and now we see SQ jumping up with Hugh Jackman. They're both getting very aggressive on this high ground, but Zach's the one that's actually taking the most damage there from Botniks, just sort of pumping out damage.
The thing that saved them was an anti-nade onto 3 people of East Coast Convicts. So even once the dive came in, you can see they're just having to back out and bide their time. Another beautiful anti-nade onto Zach and JEEF Beef, who are just holding on by a slither. Here's a nice little sleep bash. Bonked. Not dead though. He just got out with his life. XW is still just going to wait. Snow is really, really close. Same as Mega Smarlies to their Nano. And they're just waiting for their Winstons to get into a primal position.
Self-destruct straight onto the point, taking Shrek 3 on DVD out, and there goes Askew as well. Now we do see Sabretooth has returned to this fight, but I mean, it's a little bit of a slow push, but they should be able to get up to these supports and just take them out nice and quickly, especially when you get nanoed. 2 supports versus a nanoed monkey isn't going to do too much, and that point is going to start going the way of East Coast Convicts.
Very quick as well. There's going to be virtually no stall, maybe a quick one from Crockett to buy an extra 4-5 seconds, but I don't really know if it's worth it, to be honest. I mean, once you get on, you're basically just feeding some, yeah, he won't. That, I think that's the best plan, because now he's able to take a very, very comfortable defensive position, although it does get bonked off pretty fast.
We've talked about these anti-nates, but these sleeps have also been insane as well. Snow and Mega Smileys on both sides, just constantly getting really good sleeps to stop these Winstons diving in here. Now, once again, another whip shot from Corvus, pushing Askew back. Botnix pops the Deadeye to put a lot of pressure on this monkey from pushing in, but the bubble is going to shut it down. Hugh Jackman trying to get away. She doesn't want to fall to this, but Sabretooth's putting on all the work. Winter falls to Sabretooth, and there goes Zach as well, and it's just testament to how much work a Doomfist can do when they just punch every single player.
Doomfist more like Punch Fist. Got him. I'll leave.
You do punch with your fist, Pap. I am proud of you for acknowledging that.
I know very basic human anatomy. Leave me alone.
Are you a black belt? I feel like you're a black belt with that statement. Nano goes out early onto Crockett here. Crockett but gets left, and then Nano just gets nothing but a Nano Blade coming out now from JEEF. Is there going to be enough abilities to try and take out any kills through a rally and Sabretooth? But no, Sabretooth just punches JEEF into a wall, and that Nano Blade gets nothing. Hugh Jackman trying to put in a bit of work, but with the Deadeye taking out Snow and another punch taking out Zach. It's going to be another attack shut down.
Agony did have to use quite a few ults, but so did East Coast Convicts. They really only have, for East Coast Convicts, they have Winter. For the Dragons, I mean, maybe split them up. I mean, you could do like the ultimates of Hugh Jackman and Winter. They're quite, maybe not killing, but buying a lot of space. Maybe if you combine the two, maybe you'll catch some people out with the Dragon as you're forcing them out with the bomb. But it seems like Winter's just going to pop it almost instantly here, as East Coast Convicts will be trying to dive, but really nice anti-nade again, especially with that headshot. My goodness.
Out comes the self-destruct, and Corvus is now taken out, and those Dragons nearly actually took out Crockett, which is really interesting. Sabretooth's Meteor Strike doesn't really connect onto too much, unfortunately, but it's putting a lot of pressure for East Coast Convicts to try push up. Winter now finishes off Sabretooth, but Botnik's taking out XW, and it's just so much pressure, and Anno onto Crockett now. Does get booped back by the whip shot, consistently doing really good whip shots, but the aggression from Agony is shutting down yet another push.
Yeah, they're going to have to too. So now, no matter what happens, Agony will have beaten them in the time bank, but there's still got 2.5 minutes remaining here. You've got the Primal Rage from East Coast Convicts, but other than that, not really too much to fall back on. Whereas Agony, they were looking a little shaky that last fight, but they're now able to build up both tank ults and a Doomfist. I mean, yes, they don't have ultimates, but at any point in time, it could change. Bomb comes out, won't get anybody. Does force out bubble, but not really a big deal in the long run if they can wait it out.
It did slow them down a bit, and that gives Sabretooth a little bit more time to respawn and come back. You can see Sabretooth's already here. XW is throwing the Primal Rage and takes Corvus out now, and Botnik's taken out by JEEF. This could be looking really good, but Sabretooth returning, taking JEEF out, and just one pick is so good for the defense. First tick goes the way of East Coast Convicts, and now it's going to come down to the Nano to XW to try and push anyone away. Corvus gets stunned before being able to touch, but we do see both Shrek 3 on DVD and Botnik's come through. Hugh Jackman's bomb is good enough to remove both of them off the point. Sabretooth's anti-nated, so cannot survive and gets punched by Hugh Jackman. Diva learning how to be Doomfist, and that's going to be the point captured with 1:18.
That means we've moved on to both teams will have a chance to attack again. So we really are truly living in the the best timeline. I was going to say. Temple of we really are a temple of draw noobers here. But yeah,
There's
I mean,
still
we
a
saw
chance.
yeah, no,
There's still a chance of caps. Especially with how aggressive both teams
don't
have
give me
been.
hope.
I'm sorry, Pap. I'll try to remove the hope from you right now. But I mean,
Try to
both
remove the
teams
hope
have
from
been-
my eyes.
Yeah. Both teams have been very aggressive, though. Like, they managed to take first point very quickly. So, if they keep up that consistency, there is a chance for a cap, or at least a tick. I mean, that's all you have to hope for is one tick, and then the draw is gone.
So Sabretooth, they're not even going to attempt the Widowmaker this time, and Botnix will be onto the Tracer too. So maybe I think the DPS, they're just kind of scouting, seeing what's kind of up, but you can see Botnix is taking a very interesting little position here around the fountain, just kind of waiting for the team of East Coast Convicts to push a little far forward. Obviously, you're going to have to watch out for Zach, though, Apara, who can, you can just get stunned, slept, booped, and then you're dead. But, if you can get like a cheeky little pick towards the beginning here, they only have a minute of safe sort of attack. So they're going to have to really watch out. Sabretooth, perhaps the hack on the monkey. Nice boot, though, to start it off.
Yeah, really trying to make it that XW doesn't get the value, but Winter taking out Corvus early. That is a devastating loss for Agony here, as that's going to unlock a lot of aggression for East Coast Convicts. They get up close and personal with Mega Smileys, and just an anti-nade is going to be all that saves them. These biotic grenades know exactly where to land to heal and damage so perfectly, slowing down this push a little bit. You need to slow it down long enough for Corvus to return here, Pat.
Yeah, and Corvus in...
Winter is a nut on this Widow.
Nice Widow. The Nano, though, now onto Axu. They want to punish that Mega Smiley's going down. Anti-nade as well, just to seal the deal. Apara, I think that will be point A captured after a beautiful headshot from Winter. A Shrek 3 on DVD. There was a last, I don't know, unless you're really going to get a 6K, I don't think that bomb was really necessary. They will be falling back there, Agony, as they will have 30 seconds to attack point B. Corvus will be trying desperately to build up the beat as fast as possible, but I don't think that's going to happen. Interesting enough, though, East Coast Convicts, because they've only got 30 seconds remaining, Snow had to go onto the Lucio and now back onto the Ana, so lost a crucial amount of, nano percent. So they're going to have to go in a bit blind. Having said that, blind, they brought out tac visors. They are anything but blind.
Yeah, no, they know exactly where Crockett's hiding. XW is going to be the one to jump up and meet face to face. A private meeting with Crockett here, but Crockett's now jumping onto these supports. Pulse Bomb comes out, and Zach actually falls to Botnix there. MP comes out on the point, however, from Sabretooth, and that's going to be trying to make it so that a little bit of value comes through. Hugh Jackman pops the self-destruct onto the point, doesn't connect onto anybody, but XW is putting a lot of pressure to keep this fight alive. Out comes a Primal Rage from Crockett, and that is going to be the point stopped, as they did capture first point.
Do you reckon Crockett and XW were talking about the current banana stock market prices?
Yeah, that could have been that private one of my meeting up on the high ground, sure. You know what? They could have been talking about any sort of monkey business, let's be real.
Oh, apes strong together. Okay.
Probably realistically, XW was probably just saying, please don't hurt my supports, which Crockett immediately betrayed that decision.
Said, no, actually, your bananas are much too expensive. You need to lower the prices. Outrageous daylight robbery, I tell you. Agony, they do have a a win condition though, Apara, as East Coast Convicts weren't able to take the second point. Oh my goodness, my lips.
Yes. Yep.
It was getting there. The second point. So they just need to take that first tick. Otherwise, it will be a draw, Apara. And I don't know about you, but please no.
There's
Please
also a potential for a full hold.
Oh, of course,
They-
of course. I mean, especially with this complete composition mix-up, you've now got XW will be on the Orisa and JEEF will be on the Tourbillon. That's purely to stop if there was any trace of funny business, but there won't be. The funny business will actually be in Sabertooth's hands, who are going to instantly, I reckon, just teleport. Like, why not? Just go straight to point, force East Coast Convicts into a weird position. No, they're going to take the high ground, but instantly get melted.
Hugh Jackman, she's so good on this diva, taking out 2, and I'm so impressed by Hugh Jackman's capabilities there. She's really winning a lot of these fights. I mean, Shrek 3 on DVD is putting in a lot of work too, but I'm just blown away.
Yeah, I think Agony were like, right, that didn't work at all. We're gonna try something else. Sabertooth, they are not gonna do the sim strat anymore. They're instead gonna go to that Hanzo just to get those cheeky little picks. Although you still have to get past the shield of XW, and then of course Hugh Jackman, who's just been eating up all the damage for breakfast. I think they're just waiting for everyone to get back or something like that. Oh my goodness.
And now you see that dive going up, Botnix and XW really getting up close and personal. The res does come out onto Winter, so it is still a 6v6 here, but look at that space that's being made. Amplification Matrix in that back room, and Hugh Jackman once again taking out Crockett, and the Amplification Matrix is just zoning out this push. This push is not going to be allowed to continue.
No, it's not. You're just really hoping now, if you're Agony, for this Nano to come any second now. You have Corvus very cheekily onto the high ground, but might potentially get picked off, although there's a really nice peel from Botnix that will keep the likes of Corvus alive here. I reckon it's the last push. 30 seconds remaining, Apara.
And a Molten Core on point, Crockett standing on it. Oh, XW putting in a lot of work now, and this is looking really good for East Coast Convicts. They just need to win this fight. There might be a little chance for a last-minute touch, but there's no Wrecking Ball coming out. They're committing to Crockett on the Winston.
I mean, you're so close. Ooh, okay, that's not too bad. Nano's come out as well, so they have touched.
Yeah, Crockett with the Nano just trying to keep the fight alive, but Snow says no. Sabertooth throws out that Dragon Strike, and XW does fall into it, but with Bob on that payload, it's going to come down to Sabertooth taking them out. Botnix now getting up close personal, and the self-destruct from Hugh Jackman trying to get them off the point. Doesn't manage to properly, and the sleep, the Death Blossom. This is so devastating. D throws out a big bomb, taking out 3, and potentially bringing us to a draw condition?
I think no. Shrek 3 on DVD might be a bad movie, but that certainly wasn't a bad play, as that was 4 people from East Coast Comics falling at once. This is it, Apara. Point B, 30 seconds remaining. Can Agony do what East Coast couldn't and take it and bring it to 2-2?
This is it. They have to get in quickly. They've got the Primal Rage to work with, and that's what we're going to be looking at. Out comes that Primal Rage. A huge anti-nade! Primal Rage does get frozen up, but that anti-nade could be exactly what they needed, and Sabertooth takes out JEEF. Zack is going to fall to Corvus as well, and Sabertooth on this doofus putting in so much work. It is not
All 5, baby, all 5.
We are going to 5, but Pap, we're not going to 6. There was a chance.
Okay, I'll swear away with you there. You are right. Oh,
yeah. Oh my god.
What a save though from Shrek 3 on DVD. Oh my goodness.
Just
beautiful play.
Incredible stuff.
Also, very well played. Of course, that Orisa. Lovely. Love to see it. But oh my gosh, Agony. They came back. I'm just blown away. What a beautiful diva bomb. Oh, you don't get with something like that. Such a clutch plays towards the end there. Now, here we go. This is it. It's either out of Nepal or Oasis, and to be honest, these teams can play anything at this point.
Yeah.
Can you imagine everyone else's adrenaline on their team? Like, this is it. Who goes to the grand finals? They will be taking them to Oasis for these grand finals. Grand final potential matches. And I mean, that's fair enough. You can run, especially if you're something like East Coast Convicts, who do like playing that Reinhardt. You've got that University just specifically for that. But other than that, Agony, that can look really, really strong on the other sort of more divey maps like Gardens.
Yeah, and I think that's what Agony are going to have to rely on. I mean, ECC, they looked very dominant on Lijiang, but Oasis has such a different play style available. So it's going to come down to just Agony trying to force that play style that they prefer of the Winston Diva. If ECC are able to take that brawl and run them over, then that could be ECC's victory condition. And it just comes down to what team's going to bring it.
I think both are going to bring it pretty hard and pretty fast here. I mean, all of the fights have, except for Hollywood. I don't know, Hollywood was kind of a lot more tactical. They took it really slowly, both teams. Every fight just dragged on and on and on. Whereas Temple of Anubis are like, stuff that. We're just you're going to run into us, then we're going to run into you, and whoever's backline survives the most wins. So, so far it's been out of, Snow and Mega Smileys. And most of the time, Mega Smileys has been landing those really, really nice anti-nades. And I mean, half the time, Agony have been able to come out on top because of that. Snow's been building up those nanos so well, allowing Axe W to take those more aggressive positions. So I don't think there'd be much of a composition switch up, especially because any of these three Oasis maps are very brawly and very divey. We might see Farah potentially here, actually, Apara. I mean, you see quite a lot of the Farah, especially on the map like Gardens, where you can really poke right onto the skybox there, onto the point. And then, once you've sort of got the point, it's very hard in, I'd say all of these maps to really relinquish it off the defenders.
Yeah, the pharmacy could absolutely be an answer. I mean, as long as they don't do what they did on Dorado, where they ran it so long that it costs them, I think that's a good shout, to be honest. I think Sabretooth and Corvus really know how to do a good pharmacy, and Sabretooth just needs to get aggressive onto especially Snow. If you can remove that Ana quickly, then that push is almost completely dismantled here. One thing that we'll also keep an eye on is obviously Corvus. If they do choose to run that sort of Brig comp style once again, Corvus has been doing beautiful whip shots, so Corvus can exactly right.
Yeah, and then even when they're on the Lucios, they still manage to protect their Anas all the way to the very end, with all the boots and stuff like that. So oh my gosh, it all comes down to how will they play the DPS, because honestly, throughout the night, the supports have changed up a little bit. When they run the Brawl, they do tend to run like the Baptiste instead of the Ana and stuff like that. But let's be real here, it's out of what DPS will Botnik, Sabretooth, JEEF, Beef, and Winter pull out?
Yeah. And we've seen such a range. I mean, what have we been missing, Pap? That's probably the bigger question than what have we seen.
Bastion.
Bastion.
No,
you're right. But
need more Bastion.
We've seen so much.
Yeah, I know. We've even seen a little bit of the Genji. We saw some Doomfist actually come out a little bit for Sabretooth, and you can definitely play the Doom on all of these maps, especially when you got the high ground. Maybe not so much on University, where it's that a little bit more brawly. But I mean, I am so happy to eat my words, and I'm sure I potentially could. And then we saw a little bit of the Genji, but most of these nanos are really onto the Winstons to allow them to just be so aggressive all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense, your Winston is the one that's getting up, and they're attacking the supports as well. So if these Winstons can take out the supports, then it's beautiful. But looking at this first map here, Pap, what do you think we will see? Do you think we'll see the Winstons?
If you run a Zarya, you could potentially see that Brawl divey style, especially because we've seen Botniks and I think it was JEEF Beef, if I'm not mistaken, for East Coast Convicts. They have pulled out the Reaper on multiple occasions, but I mean, let's be real. It's going to be Brawl, and it's going to be out of the maze. What May can land a big enough wall to just completely shut down the opposing Reinhardt, or, you know, completely lock out the supports, and it is going to be a complete mirror matchup. I reckon they're going to TP immediately out of spawn. Whether or not they switch, maybe we get JEEF beef. We have seen them on the Tracer, so perhaps they might go the Tracer last little second there, but you can just run the Symmetra all the way through.
Now, look at that. We got East Coast Convicts going into that small room, trying to set up a little bit of a Symmetra tally wall there. But because of that, it's given Agony a lot of space on point. XW getting aggressive, needs the immortality just to stay alive. But the later immortality comes out from Mega Smileys. And because of that, we saw XW fall early. But JEEF beef taking out 2 now and really starting to open up that fight. The turrets do finish off Zach, but no, even though
Hang on, wait, what?
Sabretooth gets those kills.
Even though Symmetra beam go burr, Icicle hit to the head go boof. I don't know, like, it just seems the math checks out.
Okay.
Agony were able to take the first point. It is 20%.
Who says go boof, Pap? I guess it's gonna be interesting. This aggression coming through. Amplification Matrix comes out from Mega Smileys and the walls. 2 photon barriers colliding like crazy. This is peak Overwatch, ladies and gentlemen. So many walls. Botnix and Sabretooth. Once again, Sabretooth going boof. Boof after boof after
They're
boof.
boofing up the whole map.
Oh my gosh.
All the particle effects, we need more. And Agony, I don't even know if I can cast it. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, Agony, Sabretooth has gone boof so much. They do have the Blizzard coming out, but that's a really nice wall. Amplification Matrix as well. Beats have cut forth.
Oh! The shatter from XW is huge, and that could unlock it with the self-destruct from Hugh Jackman. She's gonna really make sure this fight is won. The shatter self-destruct combos are beautiful.
Goes boom.
Boom. Welcome to Sounds with Pap.
You're welcome. East Coast Convicts, despite it looking like all 6 ultimates were popped there, Winter still was able to hold on to that Blizzard for the next fight. Perhaps because a lot of the ultimates were used, you might use Zax just to really push in. This Blizzard won't get much though.
Yeah, they managed to get up the staircase really perfectly, but Hugh Jackman finds Mega Smileys getting split off from the rest of the team. The Blizzard did enough work. The boop comes through from Zach onto Botnix now, and the turrets are gonna, from JEEF beef, are really just gonna put a lot of pressure, and that is a reset call if I've ever seen one.
Oh, 100%. Agony, though, they were able to come up with a couple of ultimates towards the end there, but what happened was Mega Smileys just got completely cut off from the rest of the team, and XW saw that and took advantage. Next fight, though, was going to see the particle effects of 2 walls coming up again, I would say. Zach is still holding on, but the amplification matrix gets popped very early.
Yeah, the wall once again just blocking it, and there's our 2 photon barriers once again just making this game look so beautiful to look at. Many colors, and I just love it. Self-destruct going into really nowhere, and it's interesting to see these turrets are putting so much pressure on XW. Throws the shatter down onto Mega Smileys, and Mega Smileys falls because of it. Self-destruct on the high ground, DMX Shrek on DVD, and there goes Shrek on DVD thrown into the garbage, maybe where it deserves to be. But
last fight here, Apara. We've got 84 seconds. They've got 15 seconds just to touch point, but with all the walls that are coming out from Winter, it's going to be really, really hard. Sabretooth has the Blizzard, though, so perhaps with the Lucio speed boost from Corvus, able to just get on top of them. That's because that's what they need, as this is it, the final fight.
Out comes the sound barrier to keep people alive through the Blizzard, but Snow gets completely frozen up, and Botnix takes aggression onto that and takes Snow out. The charge from Crockett finishes off Winter, but XW charges Crockett back here. XW now walled off, though, and does get taken out because of it. Hugh Jackman, JEEF beef, and Zach are all that's left for East Coast Convicts to try and keep this fight alive, and a photon barrier from JEEF beef is going to put in a little bit of work, but that does go the way of Agony.
Yeah, Agony have been able to take this. Now the roles are reversed, and it's now East Coast Convicts with their final fight in their hands. Crockett, the difference here, though, is Crockett and Axe W will have their shatters. So which I was gonna, another sound effects was coming, but I thought maybe I'll stop it right there.
The BAMs come through and Trick 3 and DVD is thrown to the ground. Blizzard though, straight onto point, but nobody's able to Winter just gets a touch on time, but the value of the Blizzard does not come through because of that. Sabretooth and Shrek 3 on DVD are putting in the work now, and Agony are gonna take it. They're starting to look pretty good on this brawl.
Yeah, but it's the Opapa curse. Let's be real, we're gonna see the third map.
Okay, Pep, sure. The Opapa curse is getting you delirious, my friend. You never
don't know that.
Agony.
I might be just seeing the future.
Yeah, potentially.
Potentially.
Agony are gonna have to prove us wrong right now. And it looks like they're onto their favorite playstyle of this Winston Diva Crockett, back onto what they know and love.
Yeah, East Coast Convicts, they're going to switch it up a little bit with, never mind that, Winter is going to last little switch onto the Symmetra just to get them out as fast as possible, and then go back to the Sombra, perhaps in the back line, just hacking a little bit onto Crockett like we saw earlier. I think that was on Hollywood if I remember correctly. Sabretooth also will be opting for the Sombra, so which hacks come through and which EMPs are better will dictate a lot of these fights if they're built up quickly enough.
Now it looks like East Coast Convicts are rotating all the way around into their into Agony's sort of playroom right now, and Agony are being forced so far back, now giving East Coast Convicts that point to start capturing, and the early capture is going to be so much value. This point is going to start ticking up in time bank here. Corvus gets this charge onto XW, and XW falls because of it. Botniks taking them out. Crockett follows up onto Winter here, and you know what, East Coast Convicts may have gotten the point early, but Agony really wants it back just as quickly, only giving them about 20-odd%.
Yeah, Mega Smileys went oof into the backline with another anti-nade, and because of that, that was 3 members that couldn't really take part in that fight. And I mean, there's a little bit of a backup, but Botniks already has this the tac visor for the next fight, taking that high ground almost instantly. And Snow, I didn't actually see this, but we've gone onto the Moira. We haven't seen much Moira.
Yeah, Moira is an interesting call. They've got the Coalescence, and that could bring quite a bit of value here, but the attack visor is what's going to try and find value right now. Nano as well onto Crockett. A lot of ultimates being thrown out, but not a lot of work coming through because of them. Botniks does take out JEEF, however, and Snow's Coalescence does manage to keep enough alive that XW can take out Botniks with their Primal Rage. Crockett now getting aggro onto Snow, trying to take them out, but XW actually takes out Mega Smileys. Self-destruct comes through, and Corvus falls to Winter here, and now it is starting to look a little bit the way of East Coast Convicts, as Winter is putting a lot of work to finish off this fight.
There's a little bit of a stall still coming in, but with Crockett falling, eventually it will flip. Next fight, I don't know, maybe we might see the double EMP, but I think it's just which Sombra wants to be more proactive in the fight. Like, perhaps you want to take it on the chin first and then go back at them with a bigger EMP. You see that happening a lot in the higher tier levels of Overwatch, where you kind of just wait for the first team and then you EMP them once they're on top of your team. So we'll see how that goes. They do have beat though, so Zach might just be hiding in the back line. Nice little bomb. Don't know if he'll get anybody though.
The EMP, however, getting 5 of them, but JEEF and Hugh Jackman are going to be putting in the work instead. So Sabretooth's EMP didn't get as much value as it looked like it may have. JEEF taking out Crockett here now, and that is just going to look like another fight win for East Coast Convicts.
Sabretooth has decided to go into the McCree instead, perhaps just protecting Mega Smileys a little bit more, and of course stopping Winter and JEEF from just getting on top of the supports. They must be having a little bit of trouble. Next fight, they will have the rally to just, I reckon they'll just move in a little bit more brawly now that they've got Sabretooth, because you can't really wait for their hacks. You got to be proactive here.
Oh, JEEF gets stunned during the Death Blossom, but does manage to take out Sabretooth. Zack gets the boop onto Botnix and is searching for a couple more. Can't manage to find Corvus during that fight there, unfortunately. But those couple of picks is really good for East Coast Convicts. Even though Crockett has the nano, Crockett isn't going to be able to get the kills, and Mega Smileys is now falling so low. Hugh Jackman just trying to get the punches, but Winter's going to be the one to finish off with the punch onto Mega Smileys. Zack takes out Shrek 3 on DVD, and East Coast Convicts are going to Opapa curse us and take us to the third
What did I
point.
say? What did I say? If we had a higher budget, I'd say roll the clip. Oh.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yep, all of them. We had to see them all, Apara. There's just not enough maps to go around.
Not enough Overwatch content for us to watch.
Oh, these games are so close each and every time, although I will admit that East Coast Convicts, they seem to have that just wrapped up instantly. Like, once they had that point, their ultimates, how they cycled through was beautiful. You can see immediately, this is the Farah map. You got JEEF Beef and Zack, they'll be up in the sky versing the likes of... Actually, no, there's a little bit of a switch. Botnix did tease us a little bit with the Farah to begin with, but now it's going to be really, really hard for Agony once they notice that they have nothing to really stop this damage coming from the skies.
Yeah, you almost want to try hack them out of the scope, but that's asking a lot from Sabretooth here, and you can immediately see JEEF Beef is getting so much damage coming through. Crockett already was down to half HP. Now Boop Down getting aggressive straight onto us. Snow does get taken out, but Mega Smileys gets found by XW. 2 picks on the board either way, but the picks do look a little bit better for the side of East Coast Convicts here. The hack onto Hugh Jackman means that she can't be as aggressive as she would like. But the point is flipping to the way of Agony, as Agony do manage to find a bit of value taking out JEEF Beef. The res does come through, but without Mercy to heal you, JEEF Beef probably won't be doing too much as Agony get point captured.
No, they were able to, and that's because I think they did the right thing there. Like, yes, Mega Smiley's got taken out, but the Corvus speed boost onto the rest of East Coast Convicts, like, that's a lot for Snow to try and heal, especially because Ana has that single shot sort of heal. I mean, yes, you can try and nade, but that's only really going to do so much when you have a Reinhardt in your face all along, with Botnix and then Sabretooth in the backline just hacking and, just being an absolute nuisance with that SMG in the backline. Now you do, though, have Sabretooth building really, really close to that EMP. Dive comes out, but don't really think it will get much.
Yeah, Botnix tries to get aggressive onto the supports, but Winter and Hugh Jackman peel back enough. Crockett, however, fire striking through Zack, and the kills from Hugh Jackman are just consistent, and I love to see a consistent diva like this, really opening it up for East Coast Convicts to be able to point capture. They just need to finish off Mega Smileys.
And they will. So now here comes the ultimates. Agony with that EMP. I think as long as they can land it on JEEF Beef and AXW, I mean, wow, that is a quick fight.
It looked like just stall to me. Try get the time back.
It probably was a little bit of a couple of percentages here and there. Now East Coast Convicts, they do have all of their ultimates bar one, and that's Zack, but they're on 90%. They're coming up pretty fast. Then on the other side, Agony also with almost every single ult. Botnix, I think, tried to pop Death Blossom, instantly got shut down. Still wants to keep on it though, not going into the McCree or something, the Cassidy.
Sabretooth getting set up, but gets slipped! Oh, the sleep was beautiful. It was trying to go for Botnix, but lands on Sabretooth instead. Sabretooth does get the EMP off, but JEEF Beef and XW are putting in so much work. Self-destruct doesn't really connect onto much, but oh my gosh, East Coast Convict, they're just so good at these precise shots.
Oh, 100%. And I was about to say they really need to switch it up here. Now that it's coming up to that 50% mark, it's time to try and build an ults with different sort of heroes. Botnix has gone onto the Cassidy just to provide a little bit more of that hit scan damage. Instantly brought down to about 5 HP. But Crockett still has the amplification matrix. Fire Strike comes through. Doesn't really pick up anybody though.
Yeah, but the pressure onto JEEF right now. JEEF has to hide. A good anti-nade from Snow onto Shrek 3 on DVD, putting a lot of pressure onto them. But Mega Smileys is starting to fall really low. Manages to survive, and now the self-destruct. Who does it connect onto? Takes out Zach and Winter. This could open up the fight here for Agony now. As you can see, they're getting so aggressive. Hugh Jackman, she's just trying to make sure that this fight stays on the side of East Coast Convicts. But when you're the only player that's left, it can be a little bit hard. Snow trying to hide with no HP, and that is going to be Agony getting the point capture.
Yeah, but not without losing the supports. But again, Crockett also just wiped out Zach, and then Snow had to just throw themselves off to really quickly reset here. 70% remaining. Unless they can come back really fast, I think this might be East Coast Convicts' last hurrah for this map. And this is it. This could be the final fight unless East Coast Convicts can pull something out. They do have the barrage coming from JEEF and Snow with that nano, which will probably go into AXW, which we've seen time and time again. Here we go.
There's the nano rocket barrage actually, but the shatter just onto Hugh Jackman to make sure she cannot put that aggression on. However, she does manage to try and get a couple picks. No taking out Mega Smileys now, and the EMP connects onto 3. Zach with their Valkyrie manages to avoid it, but the picks are going the way of East Coast Convict. Their self-destruct doesn't connect onto much, but now with no one on point, the point is ticking over. Shrek 3 and DVD gets taken out, and now it's just a matter of can anyone from Agony come back to touch. It's going to come down to Crockett on the Wrecking Ball. Overtime is starting to tick away now. There's Wrecking Ball desperately trying to come back.
That's it.
That is it. The move is good. And East Coast Convicts are going to be our team that goes up to the grand finals. And what a performance they've shown us.
Wow. Congratulations, East Coast Convicts, for taking it out. It was so close the entire time, Apara. What an enjoyable match to cast.
Yeah, it just seemed like whoever picked the map sort of took the win, and that was
it
so
actually
fun.
Genuinely was that. East Coast Convicts to Agony, to East Coast Convicts to Agony, to East Coast Convicts.
Yeah.
Give Agony another map and it might take it even further.
Yeah, exactly right. I feel like every player on both teams really put in a lot of work. I don't think there was a point where we weren't saying anyone's name. Everyone put on such a good show.
A lot. I mean, my MVP has to go to Mega Smileys. I was in awe of how they were consistently landing those amazing antis, even when they lost like a team member on the defense. There was still those incredible antis that would come over when AXW and Hugh Jackman, when she was trying to dive in, that sort of just was able to turn that fight. It was just in those last little seconds, the ultimates and the communication was just a little bit too much, and Agony fell after such a brutal match. It was wonderful.
Absolutely, and I'm gonna give my MVP to Hugh Jackman on ECC. She was just incredible on that diva. A lot of team fights were won by Hugh Jackman, and she was enabled by Snow and Zach, and with XW as well, but she was able to just get those critical hits to make sure that Agony would die and they would win that fight and stay in this competition. So Mega Smiley, Hugh Jackman both played incredibly well.
Well played. Agony versus East Coast Convicts. East Coast Convicts just takes it after seeing every single map in the map pool they have to offer, except I think one Lijiang Tower. Do not go anywhere though. We have the rematch between the Bronze Johnson and Pride Div 5. And I mean, I don't know if you guys watched week 3, but it is a match you certainly do not want to miss. We'll see you then.
welcome back. We are here for our game 2. We just watched the phenomenal AGONY versus East Coast Convicts, and what a match that was. And now we are here for yet another amazing match up here. Bronze Johnsons versus Pride, the rematch of the century, dare I say, Pap.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Again, casted this week 3, Bronze Johnsons versus Pride with another caster, Stranger, and we had so much fun. It went all the way down to the line, and dare I say it, quite a lot of jokes as well were thrown in there, but I am really looking forward to it. Let's run through the first team, Bronze Johnsons for tonight. Manager Johnson, Captain Johnson, Coach may or may not be Johnson. The team will be Cass, or Johnson, as you'll see, will be the main tank favorite hero, will be the ball. Noodle will be the off tank for tonight, or Johnson, and another in-game name favorite hero will be that Reinhardt coming out. Then Johnson and Johnson, Dad and Budget respectively, loves that Cass, both of them. And then you've got Johnson and Johnson will be keeping everybody alive, and there will be Pat and the OG Johnson and their favorite heroes are Lucio and Baptiste. People to look out for will be Johnson, the off tank, who is Pap's new best friend. We found out together through DMs that we actually study at the same campus by chance, which is really, really cool. And then Johnson, the Anna one. Please look out for that Johnson as we play tonight. It's, in all honesty, the story was, this is a little bit of background for the Johnsons here quickly. The story was they started calling one of their teammates Johnson when they were trialing, because his account is called White Cockatoo. So instead we created the subtle euphemism Johnson, and we caught on to that pretty fast last cast, and I don't even know if I read that fact out. Another fact that came through a lot in the mod mails between these teams is that some of them are short and some of them are very tall Johnsons. I thought I'd just get that one out there. And Bronze Johnson is mostly just bronze lemurs, but with only half the team because of the availability. And lemurs have existed together for about a year, so they do have that communication, and we did see that last time when they just snuck out at that win against Pride Apara.
Yeah, and Pride is looking like a pretty strong team as well, trying to get that win on the board for themselves this time. Starting off on our main tank, not Johnson, surprisingly, but Kokako, the main tank, their favorite hero being Winston, and then Beep Boop on the off tank running that Diva. So once again, we might be seeing a lot of that sort of divey play style coming through. We got Jester53 on the flex DPS. Their favorite hero is Bastion, but it's spelled as Batian, which might be something. And then Inspire,
new hero, just mix it up a little, right?
Yeah, there's 2 new heroes, Batian and Inspire's favorite hero, Cassidy. And then finally, for the support, they have Artemis on the main support, Mercy, and Crystal as the aim support, Anna. Now, some fun facts. Their real official coach is apparently Bastion main, so that's pretty exciting. They've been together since July, and their ball player gets more environmental kills on themselves than anyone else. I think I might be their wrecking ball player, to be honest. I think, am I playing
and casting? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm playing.
First time for everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, same map pool, but we'll just run through it very quickly so that everybody knows. We'll be starting off on Lijiang Tower. We'll be moving to Hollywood, Blizzard World, or Kings Road Losers Pick as our hybrid map. Our payload map will be Junkertown, Watchpoint Gibraltar, or Dorado. Our assault map, which isn't even just a if we'll get it, is gonna be Temple of Anubis, Hanamura, or Voskaya, and we're going to, not just that we might, we are going to finish off on Nepal or Oasis. Dare I say, we're probably gonna see Ilios 2 at this rate.
Why not, right? I
Give
just
it
want to really
to
quickly
us.
say Beat Boop and Inspire will not be in for the first match. Instead, they'll be subbing out for Afan and I'm pretty sure that's Avalon as well. So Afan will be the off tank, and then it'll be Kakako as normal with the main tank, and then the DPS instead of Inspire will be Avalon, at least leading out into Lijiang Tower, but there might be some supports just switching back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's fair enough. We want to try different things. See, maybe you got a player that can run that Reinhardt a little bit better, or maybe a Zarya. You never really know. Lijiang Tower has a lot of different play styles. Maybe Avalon prefers the Symmetra, so maybe that's why Avalon comes through. It's all up in the air right now, but that is where Pride is going to run as we jump into Lijiang Tower.
Yes, we will, and I mean, based on what I saw in week 3, Jasta will pretty much be running Bastion the whole time, and it's actually incredible how Pride work together to try and get Jasta into some funny flank positions up on the high ground. Jasta does not sit on the cart for very long. He's always moving around. That's what makes Jasta so hard to try and pin down and to kill. So even in maps where, especially in this current like speed meta, Jasta's still able to stay alive. Johnson's, though, if I remember, they played a whole wealth of heroes, but they ended up quite a bit on the brawl side, and we saw that as well with Kokako and Amphion, where we saw the Winston and Diva would dive in, and then as they're diving in, disrupting everybody on Johnson's, that's when the kills from Jasta would just start flowing through. So I'm sure they've been theory crafting both of these teams as they will match up. Only one is going to go through to the grand finals of the semi-match against Johnson's and Pride.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna get a really exciting match. One little fact that you missed out, Pap, just in terms of Johnson's, is Johnson is always on the payload. Johnson has such a high payload time because they're always on it, no matter where they're playing. Johnson is always on the payload. You were talking about Jasta being always on the payload. Same thing with Johnson. But here we go. Bastion to start off the fight. Jasta opting for this Bastion. This will be an interesting play here. I'm excited to watch that.
Always.
Meanwhile, Johnson straight onto point. Every Johnson, but a huge anti-nade already straight out from Artemis. Avalon trying to roll through and get someone off the map. Unfortunately not. And then Johnson gets a really good stun from Cassidy onto Avian. Avian has to pull back, but there's the Bastion pick, getting that value. Jasta putting in the work, taking out Johnson. Johnson coming back from spawn on Lucio. And this fight has actually gone the way of Johnson.
Yeah, for now, Johnson has been able to stay on the payload, although the kills are still coming through Apara, and they're able to dislodge Johnson really, really quickly. Pride will take the point, only with about 18% the way of the Johnsons. I wonder if they'll switch it up. I think the Johnson's Symmetra will probably stay, and because they are close to that wall, which can sort of shut down the line of sight of Jasta. But you can see how Jasta just constantly moves around. You're never really sure where he can be and poke you down.
Yeah, the classic Bastion 76 strat of just running around. Minefield comes out and Afian goes off the map. Decides to just reset themselves or throwing out the minefield.
We were told that would happen.
Johnson, and Johnson are all pushing onto the point there. Out comes the amplification matrix from Johnson, but the Primal Rage is trying to push Johnson off the map, chasing down Cassidy Johnson. But the Symmetra Johnson is trying to take them out. Kokako falls to Cassidy Johnson, but Jasta's tank mode manages. Afian just rolling 2 of the Johnsons off the map, and they actually managed to hold it. Wow.
Amphion was able to come back and go, look, yes, I can kill myself, but I swear I can also do other things. Because Amphion went flying off towards the end there. Johnson will be coming back with a couple of ultimates. You do have the Cassidy High Noon and the Shatter as well as the big bomb that can come onto the point and possibly just hopefully, obviously, you're trying to pick off the Bastion, but it's very hard when he's in the back and he's able just to maneuver himself quite easily, especially when crystals just damage boosting like they are.
Now the tally straight to shattering Jester to the ground. Johnson putting in the work. Crystal gets taken out by the shatter as well. And now Johnson Reinhardt is charging up to Artemis, trying to make sure that Artemis is out of this fight. APM rolling Johnson Baptiste off the map once again, but all the other Johnsons are getting the kills that are required to finally point back to them.
That Johnson play was just a little bit too big for the Pride to be able to handle, so they had to relinquish the point for now. And now they're still able to actually hold and quite a number of ults. You still have the Lucio Johnson with the beat, which you might have to pop, especially with this nanoed Winston in your backline.
Now that's a pretty big beat from Johnson, Lucio, and the self-destruct taking out Crystal as well. Afian is in the backline, just trying to make sure that they get a back cap. Doesn't manage to confirm it, but Jester does take out Johnson Reinhardt. This fight is still being initiated by Pride. They want to push these Johnsons around and see if they can get some off the map. Unfortunately, Kokako falls, but Afian rolling through Symmetra Johnson, and now the D-Mech onto Diva Johnson is probably going to slowly start to unlock this point for Pride. Unless something goes horribly wrong, the two tank Johnsons should fall in a matter of seconds to Crystal nonetheless.
Yeah, that's two. Johnson, the Lucio, does get a really nice boop onto Jester, but is it too little too late? As there's 5 more seconds, nice little tally amplification matrix as well comes out. They're trying desperately to burn down Pride, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
The boop doesn't connect onto anyone from Lucio Johnson, and now a minefield on point from Afian is going to make it really hard for any Johnson to touch the point here. Johnson Diva, however, putting in a lot of work, and now with Kokako falling, this could still look in favor of Bronze Johnsons, but Jester is going to come in, configuration tank, just pump him a couple of good shots, and make sure that they get completely taken out so that Pride can confirm this point.
But yes, Pride will take the first map of Lijiang Tower. I mean, it was all down to that positioning of Jester. It wasn't, they were punished, but that was only when the Johnsons had to kind of pull something out of nowhere, and I really like the way that they shattered through that teleporter. They need to make those sorts of plays more often, mix up Jester, force them to move around. We're actually going to see, they really are going to take this a little bit more seriously, though. Seems like Jester will be playing instead on the Tracer, where I remember they played Bastion all the way through, went to the high ground, but no, this time they want to commit to the really pokey from every single angle sort of composition where you have Crystal's Discords. That's when Jester will come in and try and burn down the likes of, the Baptiste Johnson, or maybe even the Junkrat Johnson. They will be it's going to be brawl versus just a lot of poke from different angles and trying to get those picks.
Yeah, and that's going to be Trace's job, especially Jester, trying to just get a couple of picks, especially if they can find the support. Afian, however, rolling through Sigma Johnson here, but the other Johnsons are taking out both supports from Pride, and losing those supports is going to be devastating for Pride here. They do manage to keep point presence for a little bit, but now with Reinhardt Johnson swinging his big old hammer on the point, and Junkrat Johnson taking out Afian, that is going to really just make sure that Johnsons can take that point first and start ticking up that point percentage.
Yeah, they've all Johnson Baptiste one has that was beautiful little stagger though into Avalon towards the end there, but that amplification matrix that Johnson has, that will be really good to try and burn down the monkey, or even the ball, as they try and just get through this little choke, because they don't have any shields to really hide behind, whereas Johnson are able to really poke it down with the McCree and especially that Junkrat. So much damage, you're going to have to really be careful.
Yeah, absolutely. These Cassidys and Junkrats can pump through a lot of damage, and that is Johnson's goal right now. Wrecking Bull spinning on the circle, but Afian's taking a lot of damage. Deadeye manages to finish off Afian, so no more spinning for you, and with a minefield not really affecting too much, it's gonna be that Johnson on Lucio gets a boot kill onto Jester. Not an actual boot, but just the ability itself here. Now Reinhardt Johnson charging on through, and that's another fight win for Johnson.
Yeah, this is just time now, just kind of wasting away, and Kokako falling towards the end there from a really nice Johnson shot. That's just they're gonna have to wait even more now. Pride 61% remaining. They do have a couple of ultimates though. Crystal's nearly up to the Oh my gosh. Oh, please, brain. Never mind. You know what I'm trying to say. The nano comes out from Kakako. It's big.
Sound barrier comes through to keep all of the Johnsons alive there. Amplification matrix as well coming out from Baptiste Johnson, but the Deadeye up on the high ground takes Johnson Cassidy out. Losing that Cassidy could be devastating for Johnson, but however, Junkrat Johnson and Lucio Johnson, they're playing a game of their own, taking out 2, and now it's just Afian, all that's left, and Johnson are going to be able to take control center by the looks of it.
95% Apara. It's really only down to Kakako, who just got burnt down instantly. Here comes a tire. It's gonna be just a celebration. That is a Johnson celebration if I've ever seen one. Artemis just falling towards the end there. 1-1 as we move on to Gardens, the final Lijiang Tower map. You know what, Apara? I was thinking during the break, you know what map we didn't see?
Yeah. Map 3 of Lijiang Tower, but now we get to.
Now we get the pleasure of seeing it. So thank you. So, no, this is really, really tight. I'm wondering if Jasta will just go back to that Bastion and perhaps Telly. But it doesn't seem like Johnson want any deal with it either. You've got a Tracer and a Cassidy coming out. And I do like the way that they're running this Brig Zen comp, you know, protecting the Zen, but the Discords are just so valuable, especially when they go on to someone like Kakako or like Justice. You can burn down the Bastion as fast as possible.
Now, neither Wrecking Ball's looking for rolls-offs just yet, but Afian getting taken out quickly by Tracer Johnson. Jester sitting up on the bridge, but has to fall back a little bit as Johnson Zenyatta takes out Avalon, and that is just another very quick, dominant fight win from the Johnsons.
That's definitely what you need with the supports that the Johnsons have. You know, there's only so much healing a Brig and a Zenyatta can do, so I was really, really well played. Especially, I don't know how Tracer Johnson just pretty much deleted Amphion just immediately there. But because of that, nearly has Pulse Bomb, so we'll probably try and stick it onto the likes of either Crystal or Artemis as they come into this fight. They seem to want to rotate into the White Room so they don't, you know, have the chance of being booped by Brig Johnson or, you know, even Ball Johnson.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're going to try and do, is just play in this wee White Room here, throw damage through as Jasta just really trying to find any sort of kill, but there's enough cover for everyone to hide. And now with Afian taking out Wrecking Ball Johnson, the Nano Kakako is going to get a lot of value to start aggressing. However, Transcendence comes out and Johnson deeper takes out 3.
Big Johnson play.
Oh no. I thought the sound effects were bad. Okay, but yeah, a huge self-destruct from Demon Johnson.
You know what? You don't have the guts. Jasta will come out with configuration tank next fight. That's even if they can really set up here, because the speed in which the Johnsons are attacking Pride aren't really allowing much breathing room, and they're just gonna have to wait it out. Jasta's just trying to just poke away, but they're doing such a good job of just hiding and just waiting. Johnson the Tracer and Johnson the Cassidy do have their ultimates, and you know, this could be a fight ender right here if you could get a good enough stick.
Out comes that configuration tank, opting to rocket jump across the void here. Now onto the point, and the pulse bomb onto Jasta. That is devastating news for Pride, as Johnson are looking dominant right now, really just holding that point of Gardens well.
Didn't
Johnson
even allow
taking
Pride.
a first map.
Yeah. Johnson didn't even allow Pride to cross the bridge half the time. And even when they did, that was a massive self-destruct that just locked out that fight. Hey, this is when Amphion didn't throw themselves off a cliff by accident.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, sometimes they can play Wrecking Ball, I guess.
That is not me. I can never play Wrecking Ball.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It can't be you then, Apara. I'm joking.
Yeah, you're right. They're far better than I ever could be.
I chose violence. I do apologize.
It was okay, but yeah, Johnson taking the first map. Pride now getting this map choice. I mean, usually we expect Kings Row, but now that we saw today a brand new map of Hollywood, what do you think we're going to see?
I am just thinking back to how they It was King's Row. I'm pretty sure. I think no matter what, I think they will take him to King's Row. It wouldn't surprise me too much if they went to Hollywood either, but I don't know. The King's Row sounds better, but I think it will be the Hollywood. I think it is Yeah, it is Hollywood. There you go. And Johnson will be the first to defend unless they do switch last second, it seems. But we saw that when Pride was defending, it was really, really hard to try and dislodge the Bastion of Jasta from that high ground. But when it was on the attack and the offense, if the Johnsons can keep that pressure up that we saw in Lijiang Tower, you can see it being really hard for someone like Jasta to be able to set up where they want to be.
I think that's going to be the key, is just looking for where Jester is and pushing it if they continue running this Bastion. And fun fact for everyone, now that we've seen the Bastion, we've officially seen every single DPS possible.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you're right. Which
is really quite interesting. Yeah, I'm
do we?
Usually, you get the couple of consistent DPS that you see every time, but I mean, last match we saw so many DPS coming out, and every DPS, our last one.
I was thinking about like Echo. No, we saw an Echo. Yeah, no, we definitely saw Echoes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, so either we'll get Jasta onto the Tracer. I should also mention there has been a sub. Inspire has been the new DPS sub for Pride. Don't worry, the Johnsons aren't going anywhere. their name is...
They did sub in Johnson for Johnson, so...
Oh, my bad. Maybe this Johnson just makes bigger plays.
Yeah, probably. No, there's no Johnson subs. They're all still the same. But moving into Hollywood, this could be interesting to see. We're so used to King's Row that once again 2 Hollywoods in a night. It's a little bit of a shock.
It's unheard of. Actually, the one map we haven't seen, I don't think I've even cast over this entire Ascent, has been Blizzard World.
Blizzard World.
That one must not really be too popular. I don't mind Blizzard World. I think it's okay. But I
really like Blizzard World.
Yeah, I don't think it's too bad. It's grown on me like Hollywood has, to be honest. I don't mind it. Anyway, before anything really opens up, my prediction will be the dive from both sides and then have Jasta sort of running around on that high ground and seeing if they can melt some people. Again, it wouldn't surprise me if you have the Johnsons just trying to all go in onto Jasta and just blow him sky high as soon as possible. That's why you do have the Genji just to dive in with the other Johnsons of Winston and Diva just to eat up all of Jasta's mini. So much damage that can come from that mini gun there. But you do still have... We actually didn't see too much ball, if I remember correctly, from the cast I did. It was mostly the Diva, Winston, but clearly they're opting for more that ball style where you can just really disrupt and roll around and just be an absolute nuisance to the backline of the support Johnsons.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to Johnson knowing, and they showed us they know how to go in hard and fast, so that's what we're going to be keeping an eye on. They're looking for Jester. Jester is the one they need to dive properly, but Crystal's taking a little bit of harassment from Winston or Johnson right now, and does manage to fall. The bubble keeps Winston Johnson alive enough to get away, but Kokako has taken out Genji Johnson here. Now with Afian and Kokako trying to dive up into this high ground, this point is going to start to unlock for them, and Jester taking out Winston Johnson. This could be good. This first point could start to go the way of Pride. They just need to make sure that the remaining stragglers either get taken out or avoid this touch. They managed to get their first tick, and now Diva Johnson is trying to come out, but they're just so scared to even peek for a second because Bastion pumped so much damage out, and that is a scary sight to behold. Now Tracer Johnson taken out quickly, and this fight, it's a slow stagger, but it is going the way of Pride very slowly.
It is. I mean, you can see where Jasta's set up in such a cheeky position that you can't really dedicate any of your Johnsons towards them to try and take Jasta out. And now there is a brig, though, a very nano Johnson that's on the field trying their best to try and stall. It seems to be a success so far, as it's now allowed some people to come back. That is a nano onto Kokako.
Yeah, Kakako getting that nano might find a little bit more value than a nano brick, but now Johnson throwing out a rally. That's really desperately trying to keep this fight alive for Bronze Johnsons. And you know what? Maybe you do just need to power up a Johnson and give it the strength to be able to take out whatever it's fighting, and that's exactly what happened with Johnson Brig. Now we got the tech visor coming out by Inspire and a self-destruct from Johnson into the backline. It does take out Atheon. Atheon falling, and now Artemis falling. These Johnsons are happy with what they're seeing as they have got 3 down, and it is just Kakako left to try and run away.
That was really, really patient and really well done there by Johnson. They knew that they just had to bide their time, wait for the stagger enough, not so that they'd feed, but just stop it in time. Yes, he gave up a couple of ticks, but just being able to hold first point is so big, especially when you have a 7th Johnson about to come onto the field by the likes of Bob. Here comes Mindslow into the high ground, forcing the supports into a very unfavorable position. And
there is no longer a 7th Johnson available as Ash Johnson is taken out. Nano goes on to Diva Johnson, but a configuration tank is pumping so much damage. Avian able to finish it off quickly. Pulse Bomb doesn't connect onto much of anything, but this point is still being held by Bronze Johnsons right now. They're getting mech'd, and the Diva just trying to stall it out, but now Winston Johnson is back. There is a monkey on the field. Bob now comes out. There is now a new player on Johnson's that is not called Johnson, and his name is Bob, and he's throwing damage out onto Kakako here, but the primal from Kakako, Bob Johnson indeed. Deadeye comes out, but taken out by Johnson Tracer. Now Johnson Tracer is putting in the work required to hold this point once again, going up into the backline. Bronze Johnson Tracer does finally fall to Jester.
This stall has been spectacular, although, like you just pointed out, this last little fight, I don't think they'll have a Tracer back in time. That's only if Pride can really act on this. Crystal's the only one really with an ultimate that's to speak of. Other than that, nothing too major. You've got the bomb from Diva Johnson. That's about it.
These artists have been incredible with anti-nades tonight, really just putting a lot of pressure onto every player of the enemy team here, and Johnson Anna is no different, taking out Kakako, and now Atheon's falling to Johnson Diva. Pulse Bomb takes out Inspire, and this is looking like the potential near full hold for the Johnsons. Configuration Tank is trying to keep this fight alive, but the baby Diva does manage to take out Jester, and now it's just Kakako getting harassed by Tracer Johnson here. Primal to make sure no one else can touch, and first point doesn't even get captured by Pride.
I know, and I think there was like 3 fights there where it really could have gone towards Pride, but Johnson, they've been practicing those stalls, because my goodness, that went on and on and on. Pride, though, they do have at least a win condition that they can hold to about, 2nd tick and a half, and that will allow, that sort of retake if they had to wait. And from what I remember, Pride was very good on the defense, so it's going to take all the Johnsons together to come up with a plan on how to defeat them. And I think what they're doing so far with that Tracer and, just harassing from different angles has been working a treat, because if you play that sort of brawly style and come at it, the Johnsons in one direction, that's when you can get just melted.
Yeah, it's always scary when you sort of just like keep this Bastion up and running consistently. Yeah. Bastions are scary at the worst of times, so when they're in top form like Jester is looking, it is going to be very hard, especially damage boosted from Crystal.
I mean, when you are coached by Bastion main, Yeah. Yeah.
You got to play it. Yeah,
you gotta whip out the Bastion. On the defense, though, nothing too much. Inspire, we did see this week 3, did pull out the 76. We'll be taking that high ground and trying to burn down the Johnsons coming through that choke. We've actually got a Cassidy and a Hanzo instead of the Tracer like we saw on the defense. So they're probably just trying to get the picks, trying to poke out Jester, make him move around.
Yeah, especially with this Hanzo Johnson, that could really put a lot of pressure onto Jester if used correctly, and Johnson seemed to know how to use their heroes correctly here. Brig trying to stop this dive coming through by Kokako and Afian. Afian practically playing in Johnson's spawn right now, and Johnson just slowly rotating upwards so far.
Yeah, they know he's there now, so they're gonna have to be a tad more careful. But they're gonna take the high ground here, Pride. But so is Johnson, and it seems the bigger pick goes towards Johnson. Never mind. Okay.
However, Jester and Afian taking out 2 Johnsons each, and that's gonna put a lot of pressure onto Hanzo Johnson as they fall to Kokako. Both tanks are now diving Jester, but Jester just trying to keep themselves alive. Artemis does get taken out, and Jester falls as well. These tanks are gonna be starting to putting in the work here. Kokako comes out, but is anti-nated, and Nano Johnson is a scary sight to behold here. You don't want that up close and personal. Inspire returning on the soldier, but there is no one able to stall this out with Inspire falling. They don't need much to win this fight.
No, they really don't. And Dragon will come up for Johnson the Hanzo, and I don't even think the ball can touch. Wow. I'm not like I'm shocked. Well played, Johnsons. Being able to take that with quite a lot of speed.
Johnson trying to speed run to break the Opapa curse? Is that what's happening right now?
Maybe, possible.
I couldn't believe it.
It is technically map point.
Yeah, exactly right. Pride now has to reverse sweep.
They have to reverse sweep. Unless they get like 2 draws.
Yeah, there could be draws in between. You're right. There could still be draws.
You would see Farah and I just in a fetal position in the corner, still with our microphones casting away.
Yeah, exactly right.
Oh goodness.
The question now comes in: do you bring in Beat Boop? Do you bring in that
the Diva
sort of more
specialist? No, it's the Diva. Beat Boop is a Diva specialist, a very good one at that. I guess it depends on what Pride wants to be playing here. You got Junkertown, which was the last map that Pride took Johnson's on week 3, and then you got Watchpoint Gibraltar and Dorado. I don't know, I guess you can just run Junkertown again. Last time I remember saying, oh no, don't run Junkertown, it's probably not the best map, but we could see it. I think it's going to be, instead they're going to switch it up a little bit and go Watchpoint Gibraltar, where there is so much high ground, especially when you're defending, and then perhaps we're going to see a little bit of a pirate ship, but I remember saying that last time in Junkertown, but that never actually really happened. They will be subbing in Beat Boop, so it's now the tanks of Beat Boop and Kokako. So they will be playing the Diva instead of the ball here.
Yeah, and I think that's fair enough. There's a lot of damage that can come through from the DPS of Johnson's, and to be able to eat that up is very helpful. I mean, Afian, don't get me wrong, they were very good on that Wrecking Ball, very good at harassing a lot of those, especially supports and DPS in of themselves, but I think Diva, it just makes sense in the current sort of meta and lineup. Maybe even with Jester, I think Diva might just be able to protect Jester a little bit more.
Yeah, if they're going to stick to this Bastion, they're going to have to switch it up a little bit more because, yeah, like you're saying, Johnson, they seem to have really done their homework and they've come in fighting really hard with different kind of compositions, but with the same sort of goal, and that's to not necessarily, which is interesting, go for Jester, but kind of alienate him from the rest of the team and just slowly get those picks onto the rest of Pride, and then Pride sort of just fall apart in that way. We're clearly going to get dive again. We saw that throughout the entire night. And then, I don't know, the supports, we saw a little bit of Ana, but maybe you get a Baptiste for that immortality field onto Jester, keeping him alive a little bit more. But with all this high ground, this is where, if you're defending as Johnson, you can just, come from all different directions on top of Jester.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think even though Jest is very good at playing that flanky sort of bastion, if Johnson's know where he is and calls it out, they can just jump it. So I think you do need to focus on protecting Jester a little bit more. And generally speaking, with bastion comps, you have to play around the bastion. You know, even if a bastion can 76, and I mean, there are really good bastions who can play on their own and play that flank style, but if they shut it down, you have to play around the bastion and make a comp that is going to fully protect it.
It's almost worth, like, if the bastion doesn't work after 2 minutes, perhaps swapping it up to that tracer. Like, even when it was the stall with the defense, Jasta still didn't, go to that tracer and try and stall it out a little bit more. I think they were really stuck onto that bastion pick, and because of that, just didn't really get time to set up. And even once he did, he just got absolutely demolished by the end of it. So he's going to have to play really, really well. Inspire, they are going to. Last time, probably teleport to the high ground, I'd say, and just give Jasta that high ground advantage, just immediately taking out the possibility of what I was suggesting earlier of the Johnsons kind of just diving in on them.
Now, early TP, yep, but the TP is caught out very quickly. Tanks pushing all of them off that high ground. Kokako and Beep Boop do get up and Inspire, now takes out Johnson. Winston here, losing that Winston could be devastating for Johnson's, as that's a lot of protection removed. And now the payload is starting to progress, but they aren't fully committing to it just yet. Inspire?
Inspire?
I think Inspire lagged out. I think that's what just...
and died?
Yeah, it looks like Inspire lagged out, walked off the map. Very unfortunate there.
That's an F. They weren't... I just had a really quick look at their ultimate. It wasn't too high. It was about 20%, so...
Yeah.
But that is that's unfortunate. You had a little bit of a roll going there against the Johnsons towards the end, but I think they'll get back pretty quickly. The payload's only about 20 meters from spawn, so especially with the Johnsons are on the retreat at the moment, so they'll be missed for maybe about 5 seconds. It shouldn't be too bad, unless the Johnsons can kind of collect themselves quite quickly. They do need to consistently fight for this high ground though, because that's when it gets dangerous. Now that we've seen what they want to run, they're going for the Inspire pick purely for Cassidy's flashbang to stop. I mean, the thing is, Cassidy only has 1 flashbang. The comp that Johnson running, you need 3. So
yeah,
if
true.
Johnson can play this smartly, that would mean that it's going to just overwhelm the likes of Inspire. I mean, it overwhelmed them so much that they walked off the map, so anything's possible.
Overwhelmed them so much they lagged out, left the game, walked off the map. Everything bad that can happen, dude. Yeah. Nope. I mean, you're right. Of any time for this DC to happen, at least it's at the start of the match. It would suck if it was like 30 seconds left, nearly got Deadeye or had Deadeye in DCs.
They're about to ka-chow the whole team, but the ka-chow just couldn't chow hard enough. Unfortunate.
Exactly right. The Kree go ka-chow with the Deadeye. I mean, Cassidy go ka-chow even. But Inspire is back now, and let's see whether Inspire can stay on the map for a little bit longer as they push Johnson back here.
Yeah, it seems to be. I'm possibly paused on the worst pause screen imaginable. I'm staring at a wall. It's great.
That's good.
I'm like, yes.
Stream gets to see the lovely Anna just looking out to this beautiful view here, so I really respect and like that pause screen for us.
Does anyone else just not like watch Point Gibraltar when you're staring up at Point A into the sun? As like that's what Jasta could use to his advantage. The environment, when you look up, it's just blinding your eyes. Your modern brightness.
Maybe that's the strat, is just make the enemy team look up so they're all blinded and then you can just run them over. Maybe that's how you're actually meant to beat Watch Point Gibraltar.
Like a deer in headlights.
Yeah, exactly
Like,
right.
they're so surprised they don't move, and then bang out of nowhere, we seem to be coming off the pause screen now, and Spy will probably come back onto the McCree. It does seem, yeah, there's a little light retreat, but not enough for Pride to be able to just take full advantage.
Yeah, now with Beep Boop getting demech'd here, this could start to look good for the Johnsons, but a nade coming out from Artemis, those biotic grenades, consistently good, keeps Beep Boop alive, but without a mech, it's going to be a little bit harder to progress.
Yeah, and now you can see Jasta up on high ground, does get nanoed though. Johnson, the diva, just pushing in so hard.
Yeah, and Jasta feeling that pressure of a Nano Diva, but Johnson was actually looking for mercy. Self-destruct doesn't connect onto most, but Tracer Johnson taking out Artemis, losing that Ana. Devastating stuff here for Pride, as they now kind of have to think about, do we regroup? How do we want to take this? And you kind of want to wait for Artemis.
Yeah, Pride are coming up with some good ultimates of their own now. You've got about, ooh, good last little pick there. Might get rezzed up though by Crystal, but even then...
Jester does get the responsive kill onto Tracer Johnson, and now the Nano goes off onto Kokako with a configuration tank on Jester from the high ground. We see Johnson flying up, throws Jester all the way into a very uncomfortable position, but Kokako's Primal Rage is going to be enough to take Johnson Ana out here. And it's going to be such a back and forth fight, but it's starting to look a little bit more progressive here for Pride as they do finish off Johnson Brigitte. This payload can continue to progress now, and Jester may potentially jump up and do a little pirate ship for the last point, but no, decides to go to a position of just good view.
Yeah, I think that's best, but there's the pulse bomb, somehow doesn't get taken out. That was their win condition there. Now the Johnsons have to scramble to see how they can defend this. There's a nano that's come onto Johnson the Winston.
And there's a Bob on the point as well. They really want to win this, throwing everything out, and it's working. Kokako falls, self-destruct, sorry, from Beep-Boop onto the high ground, but the Johnson Diva counterpart finishes them off, and Johnsons do manage to hold it.
Nice little counterplay. I just want to point this out. Beep Boo did throw a little bomb there, but Johnson the Winston jumped up and bubbled it last second. I thought it was really, really well played there. Now Johnson the Diva being able to take out Jasta there. It's a lot of damage that's now gone, a lot of utility that they had before. They do have the self-destruct. Can they do another big play as it's just hit 60 seconds remaining on the clock here, Apara? It's getting close, especially with those picks. Oh my goodness.
Johnson throwing out a self-destruct as they got demech'd, didn't connect onto much, but these Johnsons are just getting kill after kill after kill, and it's all Johnson on the kill feed right now. It is, I mean, it can only be Johnson on the kill feed for Bronze Johnsons, but still.
No, indeed, unless Bob Johnson's on the field, but even then... Got to give that man some credit. Pride, they're coming up with a few ultimates for their last thing. You've got Artemis. They do have that nano possibly going on to Kakako as they make their final attempt. 15 seconds remaining. The nano does indeed go onto that Winston. So now they're trying to push and get a couple of kills if they can.
Deadeye doesn't connect onto much because we saw Johnson pop a Primal Rage onto Inspiring. The Pulse Bomb took out Jester, but Crystal does manage to res Jester back, and that could be important as they can configuration tank and take out Johnson here, but Crystal does fall from Tracer Johnson, but now Jester putting in a little bit more work. These tanks are continuing to push this payload, and Gibraltar may not be over as soon as we thought because Ash Johnson is getting pressured away, and the first point is finally captured by Pride.
There we go. They're the overtime team. No, they do. They finally get it into point B, and they had to use almost everything. Beat Boot, though, does have that bomb, perhaps just to make a little bit of space. But yeah, now with only 2 minutes remaining, and this is where the defensive team can really set up on the high ground, take out Jasta early, just like that, and get a really early lead on the defense.
Yeah, 3 already taken out by Johnsons here, and that is going to make it very hard for Pride to continue this push. They may have gotten that overtime cap, but shut down very quickly.
Yeah, I think that's what you needed if you were Johnson. Otherwise, once you've lost that sort of high ground space on the second point and give it up to a Bastion, that's where it can just be steamrolled for the attackers and really, really hard to take back. They're doing really, really well, though. Johnson the Diva, Noodle, at just keeping Jasper at bay.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you want. You want to make sure Jester's not getting anything out there. Self-destruct tries to come in behind Jester and take them out, but unfortunately does not connect on. But Jester now taking a wee nap. You can't really play when you're sleeping on the job here. And these Johnsons putting in so much work to put the pressure onto Jester. It's such a good call to make sure that Jester just struggles to play, and it's working so well. We got a nano onto Winston Johnson now, but the D-Mech onto D.Va. Winston Johnson has really not done too much with the nano now configuration. Tank comes out by Jester, taking out D.Va Johnson. Tech Visor finds Ash Johnson as well, and they're desperately just throwing out anything they can, trying to hide from the Bob, and this payload finally progressing through.
Yeah, they're just going to have to wait and bide their time here. Johnsons take that high ground. The Tracer Johnson does have, ooh, not just a good pick, but also the Pulse Bomb in their back pocket they'll be able to use for the next fight, as well as Rally too, to just bolster up the team a little bit more. Pride, however, they've got the Jasper on the on the attack, on the cart, sorry, but they will have to maneuver when it's a Pulse Bomb doesn't connect.
Yeah, Pulse Bomb doesn't connect onto much, and neither does Self-Destruct from Beep Boop here. And because of that, it is now just going to be up to pure mechanical gameplay here. Kokako taking out Johnson, but Winston does finish off Artemis. The res is going to be available to bring Artemis back, and having that Ana on your field is going to be critical to continue this push. Helix Rockets taking out Winston Johnson, and this point could potentially progress through. You just don't want to jump off. Brig Johnson taken down, Nano onto D.Va Johnson to try and keep the stall going here, and the stall is good as now both Johnson tanks are back. Ana Johnson does fall to Jester, and a self-destruct coming out from D.Va Johnson. Doesn't connect onto too much, unfortunately. Beep Boop trying to win this fight with the Tech Visor from Inspire to help them out here, and it is going to be enough to push through, and that's to Lucio Johnson to try stall it out, but it's not enough, as that is second point captured.
Second overtime capture. Just that was really well played there by Inspire. A little bit of a late switch over from the Cassidy to the 76, but that that attack visor completely shut down whatever defense was remaining. And then of course you had Jester that was just sitting on a high ground uncontested, especially because the tanks of the Johnsons just had to try and stay on cart as long as possible. Here comes the configuration tank. Look at the schmoves on this man as he goes up. Half of it was just to get into this position, instantly forced back as it was a lovely headshot onto Inspire.
Yeah, that was so much parkour for so little value. You just jump over, say hello, and then leave without getting any kills. It was cool to watch, but didn't come through with very much, and I think that was Bastion main just showing them cool tech. Unfortunately, didn't pull through, but Beep Boop's going to be the one that does pull through as Johnson falls. Johnson Hanzo even, but Johnson Winston is going to pop a Primal Rage and throw Inspire back to spawn now. Primal Rage returning all the way back to try and stop this Nano Kokako, but Jester takes out Winston Johnson, and the res from Crystal. Crystal is actually being a critical player right now. We've got a configuration tank coming out, taking out Brig Johnson, and there goes Brig Hanzo as well, and once again 4.2 seconds on the board. Pride managed to cap it.
Yeah, just that third point was a little bit of a roll there. Johnson couldn't really gather any sort of foothold on that defense. Just those little picks here and there on either a tank or a DPS falling, and then you also had Kakako in the backline primaling away. That just forced the attention of the Ana Johnson to look any other direction than the team that was just getting absolutely melted by Jester. So that was really well played, that third point. Now that they're on the defense, this is where the Bastion comp can really shine too. So Johnson's gonna have to really theorycraft here and see what they can come up with, especially maybe get that Genji back, seems like we're gonna get a Pharah actually, just to maybe poke down. Obviously you're going to be very careful. I was about to say there's going to be a mix-up, and Jester is not. Inspired actually going to play the Bastion. No, Johnson. Why would Johnson be playing the sim? Maybe to get Ana Johnson onto the higher ground? I'm just thinking everyone else can kind of fly, or they're just deciding what to pick. On the other side, though, it will be the same sort of comp that we saw earlier with the Cassidy, excuse me. just to stop, I guess, I mean, obviously they don't know, but there will be a Farah Johnson in the sky raining those rockets from above.
Yeah, this pharmacy could feel a lot of pressure, and it looks like you're right. The TP is just there so Anna can get across, and now opting to go onto Ash Johnson here. The Farah pumping in a lot of bullets on a lot of rockets even onto Jester, but enough support to keep Jester up and running. And I like this positioning right now from Jester. It does give them a lot of space, but oh, Johnson gets onto Inspire, taking out Inspire, forcing Crystal to res Inspire here.
Yeah, that's a res burnt very, very early. You can see how they're just poking away, making sure they're kind of out of Bastion's, kill range. Although Johnson going down pretty hard and fast there with a, the Mercy damage boosting Inspire. And now you kind of got to think how we do it. That is how you do it. Johnson's coming up with 2 huge picks.
Really good plays from every Johnson on the board so far, but especially Diva and Ash Johnson. But it is such a slow sort of push. They're really coordinating these dives properly, but the counter dive coming through by Beep Boop just to keep Jester alive, and it works out with Johnson. Winston falling. This payload, however, continuing to push through. Inspire now going to be the option to try and stall out this payload, getting Johnson demeched here. Jester takes out Anna Johnson, and the res from Mercy Johnson brings Winston Johnson back. It's a lot of Johnsons on the field.
A lot of Johnsons.
Yeah.
It is, but that the Johnson of Diva falling a little late there, that will force the Johnsons just to fall back a little bit. They do have a couple of ultimates coming up with the Barrage and the Nano. Perhaps you might get a cheeky little flank. I mean, it's the only way I can see without Johnson, the Farah, getting absolutely demolished. On the other side, though, you've got the configuration tank and the bomb. Won't pick anything up, though.
Jester does, however, take out Farah, and Johnson is forced to res Johnson. So now we have Farah back on the field. Nano onto a Rocket Barrage, but Rocket Barrage gets absolutely defense matrixed up. Inspire does fall, but Jester finishes them off. But now missing Artemis, this might be the opportunity for Johnsons to get aggressive.
Yeah,
Res
nice
does
sleep
come
onto
through.
the Johnson. Onto Johnson. My goodness, Johnson on the back. Jasta forced the configuration tank out, but it could still sort of 76 a kill from the Diva Johnson. This is almost it. You got 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining. You can see they did go that Genji pick that I thought that they might do when they first came out, just for that nano blade. Johnson has also switched to the Brig. Just for that little bit more, defense around the Ana, perhaps getting dived a little bit too much from Kakako than they would like. Ooh. But protect them from that. That is a Helix rocket straight to the face.
Yeah, losing Ana Johnson is going to really slow down this push, and you can see them just waiting. They don't even need to commit right now. Kakako just trying to do a little bit of spam damage.
Yeah, now for this pretty much final fight here, you do have the 7th Johnson coming out to play, and also the Primaling Johnson. We'll probably see the light of day too, as the Tac Visor is the first to pop.
Nano Tac Visor as well, and that's going to put a lot of pressure and a lot of damage out. Wow, Bob Johnson is already removed, and that is just dominance coming through by Pride now. They're looking like an almost brand new team.
They really are. They've found new life because of the reverse sweep. The Opathic Curse was about to be broken apart, but they didn't want any of that. Like, no. We're going to keep it going with the Johnson Genji falling very, very early into that last fight there. It's a little bit of a fight back though. Kakako falls.
Yeah, now with the Primaling Johnson in your backline, that is a pretty scary sight, but Beep Boop does manage to take them out during it. Nano goes on to Diva. Diva flies into Jester's face, and that Diva Johnson does manage to take out Jester. Self-destruct from Beep Boop, just trying to get a kill and zone some people out, but it's not enough as Crystal now falls to Diva Johnson. Diva Johnson now trying to chase down Jester, manages to take them out, and now it does look like potentially Bronze Johnsons are going to come back into this fight. A really huge anti-nade comes through by Arna Johnson, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on these tanks to try and keep this fight alive. Primaling Kokako doesn't even really matter when this payload is continuing to push on through. Kokako falls to Arna Johnson, and it is just now the stall from Pride. Pride want this point to stop moving. They don't want it, and they pop the tech visor. That tech visor being lost could be critical if this point does capture, and now a configuration tank is gone as well.
They lost everything there. Literally everything except Artemis's nano. So, I mean, look at that. The Johnson's pushing up so far to get that pick, and that's what you have to do when you want to take this high ground off of Pride. And they've done that extremely fast and extremely successfully. Now they have this win condition of the Johnson Ana and Johnson Genji with that nano blade probably directly going to go into either Inspire or Gas. Here it comes.
And there it is, Inspire removed, but a good sleep comes through by Artemis. Rez comes to bring Inspire back, and that blade has practically no value anymore because of that Rez. However, the value that was made is this payload is pushed so far through now. Brig Johnson is getting battled by Beep Boop on the Diva and a self-destruct now coming into this entryway, but Jaster's getting the kills that are required to shut down this push.
They will. 1 minute 30 seconds remaining. Beep Boop has the bomb of their own now, and yeah, that sleep was so crucial to be able to hold that point because you saw just how far that cart was pushed in a matter of 20 seconds. So now they have actually switched it up. They've got the Cassidy, the High Noon, but they also have the Widowmaker to try and get a pick just like that. Massive, unless it can get res, which it does.
Oh, but that means there's no res available for, Jaster. Nano has to go into Beep Boop, and Beep Boop trying to put in a lot of pressure. The sleep doesn't really work out when the Primal comes through and gets woken up immediately here. Primal now pushing Inspire away. Don't want them on the high ground. Make sure they cannot play. The anti-nade is huge, and Kokako gets taken out. Beep Boop falling really low as well. Forced to use the self-destruct inside the rocket ship, which means it's not going to connect onto much of anything. But the remake connects onto Johnson. Inspire also takes out Winston Johnson here, but Widow Johnson is doing the work that they were designed to do of hitting heads, and that is exactly what you want to see. This payload is now starting to tick away, and with the self-destruct right in Jaster's face, remake onto Jaster, doesn't get the kill, but Johnson gets the kill instead, and now it is looking like Pride might be able to stall this out, but Johnson's gonna put a lot of pressure with the Nano Diva on the field. And having Inspire up on this high ground is going to bring a lot of pressure for Johnson. They're going to have to find an answer to that. And it is going to be Monkey and Diva flying up to him and taking him out. This payload could potentially push on through another overtime stall. Is that what Watch Point Gibraltar is going to be? Maybe not, with the configuration tank trying to be that victory play. Taking out 3, but it is Winston Johnson who confirmed. No. I don't know. Kakako's back now.
It's not done yet. Kakako, 1 HP in a dream, won't live, and with such little meters remaining, it will be enough. With that little bit of a stall from Kakako, I mean, they've probably got bad spawn anyway, but it leaves your supports vulnerable for Pride, and that's Artemis now down. So we might get a little bit of deja vu, this time all on Johnson's side instead, where they can just kind of start snowballing, although this is where you can get Jaster onto that high ground, but Crystal falling back into spawn does not help at all. Oh, this is such an exciting game to be watching.
Absolutely, and losing that crystal, you cannot res a mercy here. Self-destruct on the high ground. Once again, not really connecting onto much. We're not seeing as big a bombs as we were last time, but maybe this one will be the big one. Just D-Mix Beep Boop here, but Johnson does take out Kokako, and this payload is continuing to push along. 30 seconds remaining.
Yeah, with 30 seconds remaining, this is the final fight. Inspire, though, that's a Johnson down. There's no mercy on the Johnson side either to bring him back up. They kind of just got to wait. There's nothing much you can really do without that nano that Johnson was holding. You've got a Brig, but it's just not going to be enough again when you're bursting Jaster all the way in the back, burning you down. So they're probably going to nano perhaps the Monkey Johnson as they dive in, but you don't really have much to fall back on. Maybe a High Noon just to make some space. Pride, though, everything is on the table and in their hands.
Yeah, Pride has to put in the work, and Jester is in such a good position to just pump down damage. Nano onto Winston Johnson, not really doing too much. The sleeping Kokako's not going to get much value either. Kokako now returns and gets taken out immediately by Cassidy Johnson here. Jester pops that configuration tank, and once again, this could be that victory play that they're so desperately trying to find. And with an anti-nade coming out by Artemis, killing Johnson, that's 3 kills on the board. Baby Diva Johnson just hiding on that payload, trying to make sure that they do not get taken out. But with Jester set up, Kokako returning, the spawns are in favor of Pride. Pride is going to stay alive in this match.
The reverse sweep is still on the table, and we were so close. So close. Oh, Pride, they're not going down without a fight. Jester plays the game. They might have finished in overtime, but it was enough to be able to eke out the victory, and only just as well, because that last fight could have gone either way. Beautiful shots there from Jester.
Oh, yeah.
My
That
goodness.
direct tank shot by Jester, really showing us why they play Bastion.
Yeah, I mean, I really do think that the play of the game should have been that parkour, though. Let's be real.
Yeah, true.
Parkour
I
all the way
agree.
up,
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
no reason. It was great.
That was a very, very cool play here. And I mean, wow, and Pride really showing us that they are still in this game. They are not down and out just yet. And now Johnsons are starting to feel the heat.
They are. So now it is on Johnson's side, though, which map we go to. We either go to, it's 2CP. Of course, we're going to see 2CP, Apara. Oh my goodness, honestly.
I did say when I was saying the map pool, we're seeing 2CP.
Let's be real,
We're seeing Oasis or Nepal. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's just we are going to see it.
Just to give it at this point. Everyone grabs
Especially
some
if it's
yeah.
especially if it's 2CP. I mean, a Bastion setup is so dominant.
And the defense as well. Yeah, it's true. I mean, okay, if you were the Johnsons, what map would you pick? I suppose, I think I said Hanamura last time, and I'm pretty sure they went Hanamura if I remember correctly, because you can speed boost, to the right or to the left and sort of out of line of sight from Jasper and make it just make it a little bit hard for him to be able to, see you and be able to just burn you down. And that's where you really saw like the Baptiste come out. I think we even saw some Reinhardt play from the Johnsons too. So it'll be all on whether or not they pick either Hanamura. I doubt they'd pick Volskaya Industries. That just works too well in Bastion's favor with all that high ground. And then Temple of Anubis, maybe. I mean, you can definitely grab that Tracer and get them in the back line. But yeah, I think it's best to probably go on Hanamura, but it seems like they will be taking them to Volskaya Industries. And now that I see the map in my eyes, I think they did actually do Volskaya Industries, but Pride still were able to take that map, I believe. So they've probably been able to theorycraft a little bit more on how they're going to approach it. You know what's interesting, Apara, that I've just thought of? Maybe they have scrimmed Pride and tried this, but could they potentially just hack the Bastion with the Sombra and then just start being an absolute nuisance? Or maybe Jasper is just a bit too wise to it and would be able to just be shoot in a 360, like come no closer. Like a helicopter Bastion.
Let's just make it that Bastion has turrets at every angle, and all you need to do is set up and then press mouse 1 and then just like leave, and you'll be shooting in every direction and win the game. How does that sound?
I mean, do you remember, I don't know if any of you guys played the beta of Overwatch, but Bastion used to have a shield in front of him.
Yeah, that was good times. That's
goodness.
peak Overwatch. Let's be real here.
Let's bring that back. Bring back old Overwatch.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, no. There were parts that should stay in the past, and I think that was one of them. It was.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Right.
I think Diva also had like defense matrix of like 10 seconds as well, which was insane. Like there was so much defense matrix.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely right. But I think now we're in a state of Overwatch where it is pretty good. Like it's pretty good to player. Like the fact that we've seen every DPS hero, we've seen a range of strats being played. You know, the brawl, the dive. Obviously, it's more speed oriented, but like throughout Ascent, we have been seeing a lot of Orisa, double shield sort of stuff as well. So like, there's so many different comps. Yeah, that is fair. That is fair. But we like, I think Overwatch is in such a state that a lot of different comps can be played, and so it's exciting to be able to see Pride run this Bastion comp and make it work well.
Yeah, exactly. And how they attack Volsky Industry, you know something, I mean, what they could get is the Symmetra from Inspire, and then just get just to you know, sort of run around the edge and then just sit behind them and go brr as the rest of the team sort of dive in. That could potentially be something, because attacking with Volsky Industry is going to be a little bit more difficult, because you can get that Winston Diva sort of on top of that, I don't know what you'd call it, small house canopy thing with the little mega, and then just constantly be diving on top and then retreating. And then you've got the Ana, which, and possibly the Brigader if you're the Johnsons, being out, you know, in that mega sort of room where you can hide out a little bit more out of line of sight. So the attack is going to be a little bit difficult for Pride, but I think the defense is going to be really, really hard for Johnson, unless you can shut down the amount of flanks that's going to come from, I was going to pick out a specific Johnson, but all the Johnsons.
Yeah, exactly right. Any Johnson will struggle when you're trying to get into this sort of setup Bastion play style, and especially first point. I mean, there's also that capability for Bastion to move from high ground to high ground and really avoid any sort of rotations. Like, you can see that pretty early on. So
especially with the hardcore parkour that we've seen for so far.
Jester obviously just going to rocket jump away from the enemies. That's the only reason you need to use configuration tank.
Of course, just to reposition, you know? Well, I don't see another reason other than, you know, getting that high ground. They have switched it up though. Pride this time, they want to defend first and put down a really good, you know, first. Obviously, you'd want the first hold for the point A here. Let's be real. They're probably going to run a Bastion comp. Maybe you get the 76 Inspire just on the other high ground and just pressuring from all sides of the Johnsons. If you're Johnsons, I guess you can. I think the dive is potentially best. You just got to really pick and choose where you're going to dive, because if you do go the Reinhardt route, that is where you can just get melted.
I would really like to see Inspire on Symmetra, to be honest, because you can do that teleport from high ground to high ground, and that would be so much fun to just watch the Bastion like constantly evade damage. But you are right, Inspire is going to be running that 76 just to get that extra sort of spam damage coming out, and maybe be able to take different angles that Jester can't.
It seems like Johnson, they're playing for a win condition. That win condition is the Nano Genji, and with, you know, 4 minutes on the clock, I reckon you can get 2, maybe 3, depending on how much the Johnsons can heal and do damage. And that, you know, that will, I mean, obviously you're hoping to get Crystal and Artemis, but maybe you just go all in on Jester. But I think the biggest picks here would be Crystal to try and take off. The other one is Ashe for the Johnsons to bring up the DPS, just to you know, nail down some shots from mid and see if we can dislodge Jester, who's just sitting very, very comfortably with Crystal.
Yeah, that's a very nice hallway for a Bastion to be sitting in. Jester would be very happy about that. You can see the Johnsons all just grouping up in this wee little right room right now. And now it's Winston Johnson sort of initiating that flank up into this backline, up the staircase here. But the rest of the Johnsons slowly coming along, just trying to meet up. Kokako and Diva Johnson are now going head to head, but it's a slow rotation for sure.
Slow but methodical rotation indeed. But all Pride need to do is just like, no, you're coming to us, we're not coming to you. You know, forcing Johnson to a bad position. Oh, that Genji Johnson was so close to going down, just healed up in time.
Yeah, the supports from Johnson's are putting in a lot of work right now. Jester now getting into an awkward position with Diva Johnson, putting a lot of pressure onto them. Now we do see the nano come out already from Arna Johnson, but Genji Johnson falls to Inspire here. So many Johnsons, and it looks like they maybe aren't running that Nano Blade, considering they nanoed immediately and Blade was not even ready. We do see Boop Boop getting demech'd, however, and the self-destruct is going to be a lot of pressure onto Jester. Self-destruct really zoning them out, and that first tick is now going to go the way of Johnson's. Crystal and Artemis are all that is left, and Johnson, they don't even need the Nano Blade to win the point.
No, they don't. Maybe they're just going to Ego Blade straight onto Jester or Crystal and just try and get those crucial picks. But that's a really, really fast cap. They've now got 5 minutes to hold what we all know is a very, very hard point to take, and they'll need all the ultimates they can get. But Pride, they've got some ultimates of their own configuration tank, and also the nano boost that will probably go onto Kakako so they can push in really hard onto Johnson and make sure that, you know, Genji Johnson can't just walk around and start bleeding whenever they choose.
Yeah, that's what you got to keep an eye on, is that blade, which is now a nano blade. Arna Johnson is building up nano so quickly. These tanks are taking so much damage so that Arna can just build up nano. Here comes the nano blade right onto Jester here, but the primal rage to boot Genji back. What a smart primal rage, a pure defensive primal rage to stop Nano Blade getting any value, and it's exactly what it did. Inspire was able to pop that tech visor, and Jester was able to continue pumping damage.
That was really, really well played. They put quite a lot into that, the Johnsons as well, whereas Pride, they put in a primal, but they got so much value out of that. Jester, oh my goodness, was still able to hold on to that configuration tank throughout all that. There is a 7th Johnson though that is possible for this next fight here, as they are really looking to try and get into that backline here, Pride, as you can see Johnson Winston doing a huge flank. I think, yes, no, Artemis saw.
Yeah, and now just opting to jump all the way back, trying to see whether they can get a dive to communicate with the remaining Johnsons, going up to Inspire, but Kakako is just going to do a responsive dive onto Johnson Winston here. Johnson Diva falling low, and Crystal is able to come through and keep their team alive. Self-destruct from Johnson. However, Hanzo Johnson taking out Artemis, and there goes Kakako as well. Bob is now on that point, starting to capture it, and with Artemis and Crystal being all that remains, with Inspire as a little bit of help there, this point is going to start going through. Valkyrie forced out. Jester plays the stall. Jester does get taken out, and that is going to be a fairly quick 3 minutes, 2-point capture.
Yeah, I think they played really, really well there. Johnsons, once they were on the payload, yes, they put quite a lot onto that point, but having the 7th Johnson on the field put so much pressure onto Pride just from every angle they were attacking. And yeah, with Artemis and Crystal falling relatively quickly, it just left, you know, the likes of Jester just flailing in the wind, trying their best from a very, very far right angle. If you guys didn't see, just could not get the required damage to really push off Johnson from the from point B. So now they will be attacking. Johnson will now be defending. And I think they'll go for the poke, whereas Pride, they're going to go for exactly the same of what they tried last time. And I think, I mean, if I remember correctly, it worked really well the first time. They rotated pretty fast onto either the left or the right. They constantly switched it up. But Johnson, they do very, very well of communicating and reading of where Pride might move next.
And I think that's probably what they practiced in scrims, is just, you know, reading how they move, how they push. When you're not prepared for a Bastion comp like this, it is going to be a struggle. But you can see here now, Johnson really have managed to recommunicate and figure out ways that they can counter Jester, putting a lot of pressure onto Jester here. And the Bastion is not getting as much value as they might be hoping. And because it's going to be so hard for this Bastion to push, it'll be interesting to see whether they get value. I mean, Inspire already taken out by Diva Johnson here, and now Beep Boop as well. Taken out by Hanzo Johnson. One push, immediately shut down.
Yeah, that just buys almost a full minute there off the time bank for the next push. And yeah, this is why you can see Hanzo and Ash being so good on the defense from so far away, being able to poke and does not allow Jasta to set up whatsoever. Especially with the Winston as well, there's no shield to really help guide them through. They're just taking so much damage around the truck. They're trying different directions, but Inspire goes down.
Yeah, losing Inspire first again. Crystal might be able to try and get a cheeky res if they really want to, but no, Diva Johnson is going to be there pressuring it enough to make sure that res cannot come through. And this rotation, it's so slow. It is such a struggle just to try and get to a point where they can even think about being aggressive. Finally, they've taken that high ground advantage that they want, but Inspire's all alone, and Johnson both see it, taking out Inspire immediately. Self-destruct and Dragons both come through. Self-destruct taking out Crystal and just displacing Jasta. Jasta falls. There goes Artemis as well, and that is going to be another push just immediately demolished.
There goes 2 minutes off the clock as well, Apara. They are building up a couple of ultimates for Pride. You've got Beat Boop, has the self-destruct, perhaps just going to launch it over and see if they can get any kills. We've seen some very big self-destructs tonight, so let's keep that. Maybe they can keep it up. On the other side, though, you have quite a number of ultimates, especially the Nano onto the Johnson, who got slept. Beautiful sleep. This will allow quite a good rotation, actually.
Yeah, that's exactly what Pride needed, was a sleep to just unlock this rotation here. And now Kokako can pop the Primal, taking out Hunter Johnson. Brick Johnson is also left alone, and Kokako finds it and gets that value. Now trying to take out Ash Johnson as well, gets a good dive, and there goes Ash Johnson to Jasta. The Primal from Johnson Winston is good enough to take out Inspire, but now it's only 3 Johnsons left, and with Arda Johnson falling as well, this could finally go the way of Pride, as the self-destruct doesn't connect onto anything.
No, they're still fighting this though, Pride. They're not going to give up. There's a quick little bomb from Pride, but it won't really pick anything up here. And as that's nearly 2 ticks, but I really think they've got the stall on the brain here, Pride. But just, my goodness, that was brutal. Here comes the 7th Johnson, slept up, just deleted Apara. Oh my god.
Yeah, Bastion does so much work, but look, all of the Johnsons are pretty much back. However, Brick Johnson falls so quickly to Jasta, but Diva Johnson does take out Jasta, but they cannot touch point enough, and now all of this feeding is just free ult charge for Pride.
Yeah, but that's a nice little pick onto Beat Boop. You know,
True.
the rest of Pride, they get to respawn really. Oh, sorry, Johnson. They get to respawn really quickly. Whereas when it comes to Pride, they have to sort of wait and bide their time a little bit longer here. Pride, though, they're on their next attack, they will be going for that configuration tank. We saw the snipes and watch point to Brovza, so I can't even say that Just has to get up close and personal at all. You can see a very cheeky little flank on the left side of point here, Beat Boop and Jasta. Can they make anything happen? As there's a primaling Winston, doesn't really get too much out of it except a bit of space and a Johnson down.
Jester is just having the time of their life right now. Absolutely loving the ride here. Trying to set up, now they're going to pop that configuration tank, and they're just going to try and find any sort of target. Parkour's up to find Arna Johnson, but the self-destruct from Diva Johnson actually takes Jester out. And now Pride, they're going to start to struggle, especially with Inspire and Beat Booth both being taken out. And that is a pulse bomb not connecting onto too much, but it doesn't matter when Kokako falls and all that's left is Crystal.
Yeah, they're just going to have to wait for a couple of ultimates here, Pride, to be able to take this one. Johnson, the Ash, and Johnson, the Winston, they're coming up with their ultimates, and we all know how good Primal is of a stall and just pushing away everybody. Jasta, I wonder if they'll try the same thing again. I think they will, actually, with Beat Boop by Jasta's side, as always. Just waiting for the rest of the team, waiting for Nano to build up from Artemis, and also Beat Boop's very close to a bomb of their own. This could be the push, but it's almost worth finding an Echo push here, where they don't really use many ultimates, Pride. They let Johnson Primal, they let Johnson Nano, but here comes the Nano though, however, onto Kokako.
Oh yeah, and that is going to get so aggressive up onto these supports here. They have to drop and run away from this Winston. Desperately just trying to not get caught. Bob runs right off the map, unfortunately. Bob did not want to be the 7th Johnson this time. That is 1 tick going up, 2 ticks. The nano is going on to Tracer, and Tracer is trying to take out Artemis but cannot manage it here. Freaking Bull Johnson is now back, slams onto Artemis. The power drive doesn't get the call. Post bomb from Tracer Johnson, but Beat Boop's post bomb is good, taking out Winston Johnson, and the Riz now coming through onto his fire. That is going to be with the 1:03 a capture from Pride.
That means there'll be another round as well. Oh.
But the time bank's in favor of Johnson. So, you know, Johnson are still looking strong right now. But yeah, Pride is really putting in a lot of work.
Your optimism apart.
You're more than welcome. You know what? I got to.
Oh goodness, I need some caffeine right now. Oh gosh. I know, you're right. So because of the bigger time bank, the smaller time bank from Johnson. Oh my gosh, that was a mistake. Let's try again. Because of the smaller time from Pride, they will be attacking first, with Johnson having to defend, and they know what they're going to do. And I think it is the best way to go about it. Just hope for those headshots, especially when you've only got 1 minute. So that's one chance to attack, one opportunity. I don't know. There's some sort of there's a song in there, and then you've got Inspire on the Tracer instead of the 76, just hoping to get into that backline, annoy the supports enough, or perhaps even taking out a DPS, which will alleviate a lot of the pressure as Jaster is moving into position.
Yeah, I mean, Johnson's looked so dominant on their first hold. I will be impressed if they don't manage to do some kind of full hold here. Stun onto Kukako really puts a lot of pressure here. Kukako falls so quickly. Artemis has gone too, and there goes Crystal in a full collapse of Pride. Just immediately.
And there wasn't even many ults, to be honest, for Pride to really lean on. I think, look, I don't want to tell Jaster what to do, but I'm not really sure if the Bastion at this 30-second crucial mark is the best place to hero to pick, to be honest. I mean, where can you really get him unless you can the rest of their team can really get on point and distract Johnson, but that is an immediate collapse onto Jaster.
And that's such a smart call. Just jump onto high ground, take out the Hanzo, get a really quick pick and start pushing, but you got to be touching that point. Don't let the overtime come through. Sleep onto Nano Johnson. That Winston is not going to get much value. The kills are going back and forth, but this is going to be in favor of Johnson's here as the self-destruct takes out Beat Boop, and now it's just going to come to Jaster on Soldier to try touch, but cannot.
Man. Okay, well, there's a win condition, and it's quite big. Johnson, they have 3 minutes to take 1 tick and move to the grand final match. I reckon it's doable. I do. It's going to be quite an uphill fight here for Pride to be able to hold on for so long. This is where you need Crystal to really pop off on the Mercy and get some clutch reses to bring him back should somebody, fall on the side of Pride, because this is a very long and arduous defense that you've got ahead of you, especially with how warmed up and, the mental sort of energy is all on with Johnson right now, coming out from a full hold. So it is going to be a tough battle for Pride. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Pride, literally all they're playing for right now is a draw as well. So
True.
That mental state as well of knowing, even if we hold this, it doesn't even count as a win in the series.
No,
it's
it just
only
counts
a
for
draw.
the Opapa curse. And,
yeah, exactly right.
Really will be great.
Yeah, exactly right. So I mean, it all comes down to this.
Yeah, apparently they're actually playing a different comp. Beat Boot playing the Reinhardt to really protect Jasta a lot more from all the poke that they've seen that Johnson likes to poke it, Jasta down with the Hanzo and with the Cassidy this time around instead of the Ashe. So, yeah, a lot of damage onto the Ryan shield, but this is a lot more protection.
Immediately, Winston Johnson onto the point, and Kakako was all on their lonesome, and all of the remaining Johnsons just call it out so quickly. Inspire now on this May, however, these walls are going to put a lot of pressure on the Johnsons, but they try to make this push. Johnsons just want to get in, take this point nice and quickly, and with an anti-nade onto Inspire, that might be exactly what you need. Johnson and Crystal are having a wee brick battle. The stun onto Crystal, a lot of pressure. Crystal starting to fall so low. Another stun coming through by Cassidy Johnson, and this is looking really good for Johnson's right now as they're starting to take a lot of point presence. Nano already onto Beat Boop, however, and Beat Boop can start to do a lot of damage, charging through. Doesn't manage to land anyone on that charge, but gets right up close and personal with Brick Johnson. Dragons come out by Hanzo Johnson, but I think this is gonna... I mean, I don't know.
Go back and forward, Para. That's another pick. Kako down. The Johnsons, they're a man up, especially with the respawns. Although, you still have Johnson the Brig coming back from it. But, you got the Nano falling onto Winston. You're going in really deep.
Yeah, the Nano straight onto Winston, onto Bastion. And Artemis there. Johnson gets a good Deadeye, and other Johnson Brig gets the kill onto Beat Boop here. Now we got Cassidy Johnson taking out Inspire. Now it's just up to Kokaku to try and touch, but there's no other touch. We have gotten a win from Bronze Johnson. They managed to take the series 3-1 from Pride. We do not see a fifth match.
We do not see the Opapa curse is broken. I mean, it did go to 4 rounds and all that jazz, but no fifth map.
Yeah.
Oh, no, really well played there from Diva Johnson. I think they played a spectacular job just across the board, always on top of Jasta, making sure that nothing that they got was for free. They had to fight tooth and nail Pride for any sort of positioning, and Johnson, they were just able to come up on top in the end. So massive congratulations there to the Johnsons, taking out Pride 3-1 and moving up to the grand finals.
Yeah, absolutely. Bronze Johnson's looking strong enough that they can go through and make us say the name Johnson even more in our grand finals. And so it's going to be very exciting to see here. Make sure you're there, and make sure, I mean, we have so much ASCENT for you all this week.
So much
You've just seen
much ASCENT.
Absolutely. You've just seen 2 incredible matches. We've started off with East Coast Convicts versus KE Agony, finished our night off with Pride versus Johnson. And who do you want to give MVP to, Pat?
I'd honestly give it to the Diva Johnson. I know I called it out before, but I think they did a spectacular job. Always been an annoyance on whatever map that they were put on. Even when the self-destructs didn't quite, land, they still made that sort of space to allow the rest of the Johnsons to play, especially on Lijiang Tower. I think they came out really, really strong. So they are my personal MVPs of the night, Para.
Absolutely. And my MVP goes to Bob Johnson for running off the map. It was very exciting to watch. But no, really good stuff from all the Johnsons.
What a true hero.
Really top tier gameplay. And Pride put up a good fight. They managed to take one of the maps off of Bronze Johnson's, but I think it purely just came down to Bronze Johnson's reviewing how they played from week 3 and managing to come through and change things up.
Yeah. Now, before we go really quickly, tomorrow we've still got our AOL stream games. I'll actually be back, and I'm going to be casting with Harry this time round, so I'm very, very excited about that. Those matches will be Ace Kings versus Ambition, Desire, if I remember correctly, and then you've got Lag Chimera versus Monarchs. So that is a very exciting couple of matches coming up. And then on Sunday, we've got even more ASCENT for you guys, ASCENT semi-finals of who will take it out of if I can get this correct, Team Zactacar versus Tropical Thunder and YMC MBL. That is going to be fun for the casters to say, versus Borbeen. I think it is Borbeen, not Bourbon. It is very funny. I like that name a lot. But yes, we have so many people to thank for this stream. First and foremost, we'd like to thank you for all the event producers, AOE Sports of Bloodborne, Gat, and myself. Koala Esports of S-Doggerman and Bees. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes to bring this all to you. Event coordinators of myself and S-Doggers, streamers. Gat, I'm only laughing because I've had him in my ear laughing and giggling away. We love you too. I know you guys can't hear him. With the casters of myself and Apara, stream technical assistants of Gat, Temporalic, and S-Doggerman, absolute legends with all the streaming gear, making sure it's not laggy and all flowing very, very nicely. And special thanks to all of our patrons who make Ascent possible. We're deeply grateful for all that you give, and a special thanks to AOE, Gat again, Pavadaka again, KE again, and of course the players for tonight for coming out and just, oh my gosh, Apara. Yes, the Apapa curse was broken, but they were just as close.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got two incredible matches. So thank you all so much for coming. Some really fun games, and we've got even more for you for these upcoming weeks. We'll see you all tomorrow for some AAOL.
Bye.